Hey gang, welcome to the Sneakerphiles podcast. I'm your host, Eugene. You're watching a live edition of the Sneakerphiles podcast. You can find us online at www.sneakerphiles.com. You can find us on Instagram at sneakerphiles_podcast, and you can find us on Twitter at Sneakerphiles. We are we're streaming live from our private studio, and to my left for once is...
It's Jason. What's up?
Hey, Jason. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
You excited about this?
Yeah, I get to hold a microphone this time. This is awesome. I'm going to have to get used to doing that, though.
Actually, a little bit nervous today. So.
Are you really? You shouldn't be.
I'm always nervous.
You can't edit your bullshit then, right?
Exactly. So I got to really watch what I say this time.
That's right.
So,
we're going to call you out every moment we get.
Wow. Take it easy, man.
Okay.
So what's new with you, Jason?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Not really.
Anything in the sneaker world that you want to share?
I did I kind of did a prototype custom the other day. The Virgil Abloh, it's doing off-white,
right?
Kind of like a competition, I guess, right now. That's called the Off-Campus Chucks.
Yeah.
And so they were just asking for people's photos of their DIY kind of customs,
right?
And so they're going to be using them or posting images. I'm not exactly. The details are a bit sketchy. I'm not quite sure what they're going to do with it, if they're going to take the pictures or ask you for your shoes or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But showcase them in New York in September. So I decided to make a pair, and so I made it a fully Velcro upper chuck.
Can't say that.
What? Okay, I mean hook and loop.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, we can't edit that out now, I guess, can we? Maybe there'll be an official sponsor one day. Who knows?
Trademark.
And it was really cool. I wanted to try doing a customizable custom, if that's
customizable custom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you already revealed like little pictures. Is it like 100% finished? How do you?
No, it's not 100% finished. It's not where I'd want it to be.
Right.
But it was more kind of like testing the theory of if it would actually work and how hard it would be to make. So, but I'm going to try redoing it and making a proper one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is like a practice run?
Practice run prototype for me. I was like, yeah, it actually works and I can get the stuff and yeah.
Okay. You happy so far with the progress?
So far, yeah. Yeah, it's good.
So anything else you want to add before we move on?
No, I guess not.
Okay. Then to your left, we got...
Hypeless Joe.
Hey, Joe. How's it going?
Good. There's a lot of action here.
A lot of action? What do you mean?
It's busy.
He's getting the cameras mixed up on us.
It's busy.
What are you talking about?
I'm just kidding.
Who's producing this show?
Nobody really. So anything new with your world?
Yeah, Joe. Is there anything new?
Sweatpants season.
Well, it's still summer.
It was. I figured that this was going to be a waist up situation here, coming back to the homestead for the original podcast situation. So I just threw the sweats on. That's what that is.
Well, you're camera ready all the time, Joe. I like that about you.
Hey.
So anything new with you in the sneaker world?
Nope. Starting to take inventory of things that I could probably shuttle out the door.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were one of those people.
No, it's just there's too much shit going on. I need more space.
You need more space.
Too much stuff. Plus, knowing what's coming out in the winter, what's coming out in the spring, and some little, what would you call them, filler items of unfinished business in this shoe situation that need to come in. So I've got stuff that it can go away now. Because when you've got retros that have been in a box for 10 years and you haven't opened that box since the day you bought them, what are you doing?
Try to wear them.
Yeah, just wear them.
Maybe.
Throw them away.
Is there anything?
Yeah, I'm gonna chuck them.
Anything?
Hey, is there anybody in the chat that wants them? Because I think Joe will be happy to.
Size 12.
Yeah.
Anything like that's coming up that you're actually looking forward to?
Oh hell yeah! I mean the holiday releases of the Jordan 11s are gonna be fuego, both of them. Yeah. it's tough to turn away an 11 at this point. Now it's just like we talked about way back in the day. It just signifies it's holidays. Like, it's just a feel good, something to look forward. It's like a Beacon Lighthouse pickup of shoes these days of shit.
Oh, shit. Fair enough.
Plus, there's some little ticky-tack stuff that I'd pass that are,
I know.
the discounts.
What you're really saving up for is probably those off-whites, right? I know you like those.
My contract said that wouldn't be mentioned.
Oh, I'm sorry that you have your own rider up here. Damn. You need Gatorade and can't talk about off-white. You're gonna
Blue
walk out on
M&Ms
us.
only.
Blue.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right, I like that about you then. So we're good to go. So
officially, we are, according to the chat, we're officially team glasses tonight.
Oh, that makes
sick.
sense.
So yeah,
It'll be like 2
Thanks,
minutes
Kev.
before it starts steaming up too much, and then I'll have to take them off anyways. Every time I
Get too
do,
nervous
every time I
if
do
you're
a
sweaty.
recording with like my glasses on, I get crazy sweaty and I start steaming
how do you see
them up.
through those things anyway?
They're actually really dirty and kind of
That's what I
scratched
mean.
up. I don't wear them too often anymore,
Okay.
except when I have to read.
Fair enough. That's usually what they're for.
I can legally drive without them, so I'm good to go.
Yeah.
So, anything else that you want to bring up before we move on?
No, I'm just going to be checking out the chat, I think. That's possible.
You want to put that on silence there?
I'm also going to pause that if that's all right.
That's good.
So we're not just reverbing the audio
And,
over here.
of course.
No delays.
This is actually, as you already know by now, it's a live stream that we got going on. So everyone in the chat, of course, you can let us know what you're thinking. If you have any questions, let us know, and then we'll interact with you as much as possible.
Yeah.
And
We've already got a request.
Oh, what's
Well,
the
because
request?
we're missing
The request
someone.
is because we're missing an individual, so we need to lead the show off. Have you got a topic by chance, Jay? We're ready to go for this?
For top 3 for Eugene.
Yeah, I mean, I can make it a little more enthusiastic than that, but if you do the topic, I'll do the intro. You ready?
Yes, I got
Okay,
it.
Here
Gotta
we
be
go.
quick.
Since Pierre's not here, it's time for Eugene's top 3.
Here we go.
Okay, you ready?
No,
think
he's
so.
not
This
ready.
this is just off the cuff.
All right.
Top 3 female pop stars.
Katy Perry.
Swish, swish, bish.
Not Taylor Swift anymore.
Ouch.
Because she's racist.
If she's a pop star, Sia for sure.
Yeah.
And of course Rihanna.
Okay.
Really?
Riri.
Yeah.
Really? That's
Yeah,
because
Riri.
I'm looking across over on the shelf, and that's what
Go
kind
on.
of gave me. And there's like a Lady Gaga book, so I thought, oh, it does. It can happen
Oh,
to
no.
anybody. It can happen to anybody.
I don't regret any of my answers.
His monster membership is being revoked.
I just thought that would have been one, but I
that
guess
should have
not,
been
so-
one. I'm
well,
sorry, Lady
well,
Gaga.
Well, she's not. Maybe
All right,
she's
man.
listening. I don't know.
I think it's time to talk about sneakers.
Thanks, Ken Zito. That was nice.
Yes, thank you.
All right, we wasted enough of everyone's time, so
Yep.
I think it's time to
Yep.
get into some sneaker news. First on the list is I want to talk about the newly what do you call it? Unveiled,
Sure.
Yes.
Announced.
announced sneaker, which is the Nike Air Jordan 32. What do you guys think about the Jordan 32? What are you doing?
Is that like a double thumbs up?
Two thumbs up.
Yeah, you actually like it.
I do.
The Jordan 32s.
I do.
Did you,
Probably won't buy, but really like them.
what does that mean?
It means I really
What
like
is it?
them.
Yeah.
It's aggressive. That's an aggressive shoe, and
It's an aggressive shoe. Yeah, I'll give him that.
I have been vocal that they are. If you didn't call that the 32 right now, I think a lot of people would have just assumed that that is an offshoot of a Mellow.
That's true.
Oh,
I
yeah.
heard a lot
Yeah.
about people saying that they are very reminiscent of a Mellow.
Yeah.
And we won't know until they release how they perform. But looking at this thing, I asked you on Twitter before, when the 31 is a throwback of the Jordan 1s and the 32, the 2s.
Yeah.
I think personally that these 32s are a lot more similar to the 2s than the
for sure.
previous generation.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I have a big problem with the side, whatever you want to call that, scalloping that's on the front of the wing. I don't mind on the heel, but on the wing, it's like too much. Okay. It's a little too much because it's not. The low is actually way cooler. See, I disagree. I think the low lows is trash. No, trash. Come on, man. I think they're not terrible, but they're not the best. So I'm gonna he's right in the fence. No. What I'm saying is that the low is really cool.
Well, I mean, it's the only picture of the low I've seen is the one that looks like the most appropriate Chicago colorway since the Jordan 9, the home color.
The black red with the white and red, and then the red outsole.
Well, I'm sure we're going to get some significance to deal with this. I have a big problem with the fact that they're releasing this on MJ Day with all of the band theme. I prefer that. I think it's, what is it, Rosa Corsa? The all
the
red
red
everything. That's a dope color.
We have some audio issues. Hold on.
What happened?
Oh, it's working now. Sorry, guys. I'm just reading the chat right now. It seems like there was an audio issue. So if there's any issues, technical issues, just because we're live, you have to let us know. So thank you to the chat for letting us know about that. And I think these 32s, it's another one of those shoes where I'm like, they're nice. I wouldn't get them. Like, we have a problem right now with Jordans trying to... you know, like we always complain, like Air Jordan's always just retroing stuff over and over and over, and anytime they try and innovate, people are very divisive about whether or not they like this thing or not, and then it ends up being like they sit on the shelves. But to be fair, all these Jordan 31s seem to be selling okay. Especially every time they go on sale, people do pick them up, like yourself. And it just looks like it's another generation of shoes where people will not buy at full retail.
The thing is, it has very little casual appeal. There aren't going to be a lot of people who are going to rock that casually. There are a select few of the OG sneakerhead group out there that are in absolute love with it. Yeah, I know the low's an appropriate low colorway, but it's just it's too busy for a low. It's like a LeBron 14 low.
It's
in my
not
opinion.
too busy. The high top is way too busy. The wing on the side on the low is way better because it's just split with the snakeskin and the whatever, and there's no scalloping on it, which is
I'm
awesome.
sure we're going to get a theme like those 6 ribs on there are going to be his titles or something like that.
Well, so here's the question I have. Like, they use the Ferrari Testarossa, whatever, 512 TR as their, you know, for the reason for those venting or scalloping or whatever, which only has 5. And does the original OG2 have 5 or 6 on the back?
Oh, on the back?
Yes.
Dude, I'd have to I'm going to guess 5.
It's hard to tell from what I can tell.
Does that really matter?
Well, because the point that Joe made, there's 6 on there, which would make sense to correspond to all the rings that he won.
Right. Okay, I didn't know that.
From like a design
it would be a guess. I mean, just looking at it, who knows if these are going to be anywhere near release pairs, but they're so high performance nowadays. When the 28 came out and it was an amazing basketball shoe,
yeah.
I've still yet to see anybody wear it casually. Nobody wears that casually. And then the 29, I think I may have seen them out in the streets. We're looking at
a Supra.
Oh, that's an old Supra.
It's an old Supra that came out. If you guys are in the chat want to search, have a look.
Easy just copied that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think the 32s are a step in the right direction, and if anything, I think it's actually fairly exciting to see what's coming up later on. These 32s, I have a feeling a lot of people will probably get a pair for basketball season and probably kick around and on the court with them and then never touching them again. But when we start seeing the 33s, 34, 35, that's when I'm starting to get more and more excited about the possibilities of what they're going to do. Like, do
you think it should be like using the original 2 and like the original 3, the original 4 as their inspiration?
The 3 is going to be a fucking sick shoe. I'm going to call that right now.
Or should they just redesign the shoe?
There's some records that we'll have to see next year.
The 33 is going to be an unbelievable
But should they use that?
shoe.
Should they use old retro as their
They have to
design?
do something. It's a gimmick. I understand what they're trying to do.
Is that their story? Is that what they're trying to do?
Yeah, of course. They're like, okay, what they've done is they've paired up the OG retros with the current generation. Like, you get the Royal ones, and coincide that you get the Royal 31s. Yeah, and that's a marketing thing, obviously. Sure. And it seems to be working because now you get all the colorways of the originals with the modern day signature shoe.
But here's the thing: is that of the 32s, we have already seen 2 colorways that didn't exist on the actual 2. There are only 2 colorways of high top.
Well, this black one is similar, but it didn't have an outsole like that, right? It had a black outsole, which is what I would have done. To an original 2?
There is not an all black 2.
No?
No.
There isn't?
No.
There's close.
So just the retro one that came in all black with the red. Okay, I see, yeah.
Yeah, that was an alternate colorway. Part of that theme, yeah.
I understand what they're trying to do, but at the same time, I'm just like, they can really mess up the legacy by not executing these properly.
And see, I think this is like basically carte blanche to do whatever they want now, because some of us who have been around long enough to remember how bad the Air Jordan AJF, the Fusion Air Force One collab that they did.
Okay,
just horrific, right? So now they get to update that silhouette. They get to update the Jordan line within the signature. What do you call it? Umbrella.
Yeah.
And they get to basically do whatever they want. Call it air quotes inspiration, and then completely update it technologically, like we're seeing an all Flyknit upper now on the 2, whereas we had seen Flyweave incorporated with.
What are they calling it now? Some sort of yarn special.
Anything.
Well, like we are getting a closer and closer look at those Flyknit Jordan 1s that came out or whatever, and like we've kind of clowned on the shoe a little bit. It's not one of those things where, you know, like it's for me just because like you do a new iteration of a classic shoe, it's kind of a problem for me, you know what I mean? So let's get into the chat and see what they think of this shoe, man.
One-legged listener is saying he's still got the Air Jordan 8 by Air Force One Fusion line, and that's that's one of the better ones actually.
Do you actually like that shoe though?
The 12, and I think the most horrific one of that was the Air Jordan 5 in that yellow blue plaid. Did you guys ever see that shoe?
No.
Don't bother. It's vomit. It's not just garbage. It's actual vomit in terms of what they did to that shoe. But the 8 and the 12 are actually decent.
Okay.
And the 3 of course. I think Stay Fresh has a Jordan 3 Air
yes, we
Force
saw
One
those.
Fusion.
What else is the chat saying that we can kind of dig off of?
That they should throw back. Kev was saying that they should use retro, not
They
retro,
should?
but the original versions as their inspiration. Sure.
Yeah, of course. If anything, it's just a marketing kind of gimmick.
Well, they used the last 30 years. They had their 30 years to come up with original ideas. So
no. I think the way they're doing it is absolutely one of the smarter things they can do, just because they can ride off of nostalgia. Now they can do an anniversary shoe with the OGs and try and tie it in with the new signature shoes.
And I think it's a way to connect with a younger audience, you know, because they won't know. I mean, you ask your average teenager if they know who Jordan is. Probably
everyone knows who Jordan is.
Maybe.
We still broadcast.
But are they using them as their inspiration? Or are they looking towards like a Steph Curry or a LeBron James or someone that's actually playing, not someone that's...
How about Kevin Durant saying that no one's wearing Under Armours?
Yeah.
Ouch.
Well, you'd be surprised like how many kids wear Under Armour, because the price point is right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Steph Curry, they like him.
Okay, so 4 people.
What, you mean 4 athletes, or you mean 4 people
total.
that? Yeah,
You got Steph Curry and 3 kids.
and 3 kids that are wearing them. That's it.
Buckeye City Soul saying it's strictly for hooping.
Yeah.
And
Did you certainly not a lifestyle?
Have you guys seen any 30 and 31?
A pair of 20. I've seen a pair of 29s. No,
that's pushing.
No 30s yet. Or 31s.
It's not. Maybe in 30 years, people will be wearing these when they retro these.
The 30 was only out for what felt like 6 weeks there between the long release of the 29, and then they basically bridged right into the announcement of the 31 coming out with all of the, previous inspiration from the 1.
Right.
So.
Okay. Well, I just got a JoJo. Is that you?
Nope.
Okay. Someone named JoJo said the AJ1 knit is trash. This was not pre-discussed in the topic section, but I think we should touch on the Jordan 1 bread. Flyknit breads. How do you guys
well, now the Royals came out today too.
One thing at a time.
Okay.
So these knit bread ones, how do you guys feel about it? They got Zoom Air.
We've chatted about it before.
Yeah, sort of. You can barely hear it though.
I mean, I would like to see in hand what it's like. I already know from like a visual side of things that it's not that appealing, right? Because I don't like that type of knit, the thick knit.
No,
it's like
thick knit.
It's got a lot of girth, that knit. Yeah, and I don't like it.
If anybody's ever had a loved one, like an aunt or a grandmother, knit a pair of slippers for someone else,
like a baby booty.
That's exactly what you're looking at, basically on top of a Jordan 1 midsole.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen it in person yet?
No.
I just seen photos and some videos of it.
I've seen no good photos, unfortunately.
It does look like an art project to me.
Yeah. It needs the that HTM pack that was
really
released with like the real tight.
If they did that kind of knit upper to any shoe to make it look good, would you guys have anything in mind that would make it look usable, or at least
the Air Force One Flyknit Ultras? That was a great.
Is that the same technique that they've used for this Jordan 1 though?
I don't know.
The knit pattern looks different.
Flyknit. Yeah, I know.
This is like the Ultra Boost 3.0 versus the V1 kind
No,
of knit.
it's not the same.
It's bulky and it's ugly. And
No,
it's,
It's the same discussion,
That's
though.
like
Yeah, but to me, it looks just like I said, it looks like an art project. Like we call it the Etsy ones, right?
Yeah.
Etsy ones.
Because it's something you can buy off Etsy, and it's just
Let's not do that. I don't know. I think
it's
we
keeping people on their toes.
Yeah,
and I
didn't
think
even realize I was connected. To be honest, sorry about that. And I will pay the 8 cents royalty for whatever that is, if that cost us that.
okay. Anyways, just to wrap it up, who is this Etsy one made for, really? Are there people that are out there be like, I can't wait to get this?
It has to be limited because the price point's prohibitive. We're at 200 or 220 American, so that's going to hit at 260 Canadian.
Is it just an excuse to put fly, or
I think
can you
so.
even call it fly knit?
I think so.
Fly yarn?
It is, isn't it?
Fly wool.
Fly wool.
So
I'm sure the technological process of it being made is mind-boggling. If it's coming out in one piece off of some goofy loom, if it's
goofy loom.
if it's one
Goofy loom
I could just-
wool ones.
I can just imagine like those big looming machines, and you can see the shuttle flying back and
well,
forth.
okay. They've updated the
On a
process.
pedal,
Yeah.
making
No,
it go.
and it's all Dutch.
There's not someone
Some
in
Dutch lady.
exactly one long one-piece dress of heavy
Rocking
And in
back
the
and
back, you
forth.
can hear goats being milked. Someone churning butter on the side.
That'd make it even more impressive.
That would be awesome.
But to see that come off of the printer loom or whatever 3D
I don't
loom
think it's
nowadays,
printing off of anything.
But allegedly, like they did when they said that the Yeezy was coming out as one piece. It's one piece coming out of that machine that they're pulling that thing out of. So I'm sure that's impressive. The finished project
Straight off
doesn't
the
have
sheep.
me. Exactly. Yeah.
Straight out the sheep. I'll just wrap it up. You guys can comment on it. I think this shoe is made particularly just to maybe reinstate the fly knit technology. They are implementing the knit and the weave technology into a lot of their newer silhouettes, and I think this is just what is going on.
Didn't do nothing.
So-
More royalties out the window.
Thanks, man.
Let's do this. Let's just shove that right down.
So I think this fly knit thing, it might become one of those trends that you'll just see over more and more of Jordans, maybe. So maybe next year we'll start getting the fly knit 2s and 3s and stuff.
No.
Oh, geez.
Adventure guess never.
Not if this goes terrible, which it most likely will.
Well,
they
they
probably won't.
They can call it 50 pairs, and then it's going to be like the satin.
Yeah, the set. Yeah, that's
You know
true.
what I mean?
Yeah.
They can just make this thing an absolute unicorn, and people will go bananas for it. And I'm sure we'll see listed on StockX and things that it's going to be.
It's true. As a general
$1,000.
release, it would be fucking terrible.
I just think that
What are you doing over
there
there?
are no apps open on my phone except for YouTube.
Do we have killer whales?
you would just turn your thing down for now.
I don't know what's happening. What is that? There's nothing open.
Do you have like this thing on the side?
Nope.
Sorry about that, guys.
Dope.
Not really.
All right,
We're getting ghosted here.
that's why I love going live, guys.
Beautiful.
Anyways,
Jesus,
let's just
sorry.
wrap it up. I don't think I'm ever gonna get this, and
Goodbye.
What if it happens
sorry about
again?
that, guys.
What if it happens again?
What if it happens right now?
Oh, I'd be scared.
I would be. Yeah.
Anyways, I'm not getting it. I don't think I'm ever gonna get any of the knit Jordans unless something really spectacular happens, like further down the line.
You win a raffle, you mean?
I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it.
So up here, it's gonna be what 260.
I bet you it's 260.
That's a lot for a Jordan 1.
It is a lot.
Are you guys down with this thing?
I don't know.
Would you buy it?
I would like to look at it, but I don't think I'm gonna buy it.
I
Not for
don't know what that
260. Nah. I just want to see if it's actually as shitty as it looks in the pictures.
wow.
How about you, Joe? Would you ever fuck with this thing?
Nope. No,
All right.
I'd rather set aside the money for hopefully the remastered 2s in original colorways that are
You can make your own.
rumored to come out.
All right, move on. Let's move on. So that wasn't even part of the topic. But the second thing is kind of a big. I think it's a big news, right? So the second thing on the docket would be Nike getting a new spokesperson, so to speak, into
Yeah.
their brand. And who would that be?
I don't know. Some guy.
Some guy.
some dude.
He's probably
Kung Fu Kenny.
So
Kung Fu Kenny.
I think it's official
Mr.
now
Kendrick.
that Mr. Kendrick Lamar, Kung Fu Kenny, is officially a Nike spokesperson.
Dope.
So how do you guys feel about this new acquisition by Nike?
Fucking about time.
What do you mean about time?
Well, he was doing absolutely nothing with Reebok.
He had good intentions with
he had two
Reebok.
pairs.
Well, I
He had
mean,
3 or
okay,
4
let me rephrase that. Reebok was doing nothing with Kendrick.
Okay, but I mean that's
But-
under Adidas's wing too. So
Well, there you go.
So what does that mean? Do you think Adidas had any say in what
there's
the...
a parent company involved. Who knows how much leash they're giving them?
It doesn't work like that though. Like Reebok's their own entity. I don't think
Allegedly.
I don't think Adidas has too much interference with what Reebok does when it comes to design wise. Anyways, maybe it comes to like spending dollar and cents. Yeah, Adidas has some oversight into that, commercial process. But I don't think design wise, like Adidas probably has zero hold over what a Reebok really does, right?
And there's been a lot of transition with like influencers or musicians or whoever with different brands. A lot of them are leaving or going with other brands now. So I think this is good. I think this is a great thing for Nike. It's
Wherever
gonna
the
be
money
awesome.
is.
Yeah.
There's money involved.
Yeah, for sure. And I think this is going to be good. We're going to see a lot of good stuff come out of this. I think.
We'll see, because right now it's so vague what Kendrick's involvement with Nike is really. All we've seen is Kendrick Lamar and Cortez.
It better not just be like
That's the thing,
Cortez
man. It might
for the
be.
rest of this.
It might be.
rest of his life.
It
'cause
might
that
be
would
just
kinda
Kendrick
boring.
Lamar pushing new signature colorways of Cortezes for the next 12 months. We never know what's going to happen.
Flynet Cortezes.
Yeah, I'd fuck with that. What do you-
Flynezes.
Flynez. Woolnez.
I just think that, like Kendrick Lamar as a artist, do you think he has any pull in the fashion world?
We'll see. we're about to see.
Was there any interest in the Reebok stuff that
The
he
first
did?
one was, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
And then what
Blue and
happened?
red.
And then what happened?
And then they
People
released
stopped
another
caring?
blue and red.
No, red and blue.
Yeah, and then a gray with blue and red inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it seems like he's able to make even Reebok interesting.
Well, who knows exactly how much space they're going to give with him. I mean, if you're going to give Kendrick any silhouettes, you'd got to think that the Cortez having such a big presence in Southern California and Compton, that's the shoe.
That is the shoe. It's the West
Yeah.
Coast shoe.
Yep.
I don't know how it started. How did the Cortez get like synonymous with the West Coast? Anyways,
I don't want to anger too many people, but I have a feeling that there were gang implications in the early going.
yeah, that sucks. I
Probably what you wore.
if that's true,
defines who
I'm
you're
glad
with.
that not too many people even realize that.
Yeah, no, it's good. And I mean, that last, who was behind that collaboration for the Long Beach and the CPT Cortez? What was the motivation by that? That was all over sneakers a while back.
I have no idea.
There was like a regal purple type,
Yeah.
deep navy-ish type colorway
Yeah.
for the LBC, and the Compton one was.
But there was no. There was just the re-release of
Yeah, see, I thought
Cortez, right?
I thought someone was behind that.
I have no idea.
Just like what is it? Was it 70? So 35 years or whatever?
Maybe it might have been an
45?
anniversary model.
So this Kendrick Lamar signing to Nike, can we expect? You guys wouldn't know, but like, would you expect to see more silhouettes besides the Cortez, though?
I hope so.
Okay,
I would think so. There's lots of opportunity to even create new ones.
What does
not
that mean?
only
What does that mean to Reebok? Like, what exactly do you think it means for Reebok to lose such a? I don't know. They only had 2 shoes to come out for his line, so I don't know exactly what happened with Reebok and Kendrick Lamar. But
there's more room for Amber Rose and her motherfuckers or whatever they're called.
She's with Reebok now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that right? Yeah, she's
I don't
with
know.
Reebok. Yeah.
Who cares?
She's got a new shoe. Yeah, exactly. So
can
there's
she
more room
move
for-
shoes?
Not with me.
Amber Rose. I thought
Yeah.
she was with Puma. No way.
No.
I don't remember. It's hard for me to gauge exactly what to expect from this signing or this collaboration.
And who? I mean, I'm not going to speculate, but there are other individuals in the entertainment industry, particularly music, because I think Swizz Beatz is still the creative director at
Yeah,
Reebok.
That's what I thought too.
So-
of like all the legacy
Oh, I don't know.
old school
So
stuff.
everyone-
Well, and then you probably have Drake also, like another.
Everyone in the chat,
Nike.
if you have any comments or any predictions on what this Kendrick Lamar and Nike signing really has in the future for us, like let us know. I'm excited. I'm hoping it's more than just Cortez's. I'm even hoping that he might get to design his own shoe. I don't know.
Maybe a Nike lab.
You mean his own silhouette from the ground up?
Yeah. I wouldn't mind that. Or just piece stuff together like Kanye did when he was in Nike.
Cortez sole.
Maybe they've learned
Airship
something.
upper.
I don't know. Who knows?
It's hard to say. It's just I don't know exactly how much interest he has in designing his own shoe, just because you know what it is. Like,
well, you're talking like this is a good thing, and then you're just kind of indifferent. You're just waiting to see.
I got excited that I'm excited that he's with Nike, but I'm also disappointed that it only seems to be the Cortez right now.
We have one photo, him wearing a Cortez Shark at the VMAs.
Well, no, it released on Sneakers app and sold out. And
what did?
That shoe.
Which one?
The Cortez.
Is that a
Shark.
unique shoe?
Well, it was the one that he wore. That's the exact same one. It was on Sneakers
So
app.
basically what we're saying now is he's the new Kanye because the shoe released and sold out instantly.
Just saying.
Just admit it.
I don't know if he's going to be, but
The Shark is one of the worst silhouettes in the Cortez line, in my opinion.
yeah.
Okay.
Which is what? Just the big giant shark teeth is the only thing on the...
But it's sold out, so...
That's exactly it. So now he's got the same amount of influence, and now if Nike has a great financial year, we just attribute it to...
Maybe there was only like 4 pairs of shoes.
Thank you. That's exactly...
It sold out really quick, because there was only 4.
That's right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I don't know.
All right. Anything else you want to add before we move on?
Just don't make a cornrow
What's that?
shoe.
A cornrow shoe? I don't know how they're going to do that. They're going to grow it out and then add that fly knit to it. But
they'll use fly knit to make the cornrows.
There you
No,
go.
they won't.
So next is newly announced. It's you know how I feel about packs, and I do love my packs. So just newly announced is this Jordan 13. What is this thing called? Respect and
Love and Respect?
Love and Respect 13. So it's it's a 13 or 2 13s, and they are fairly similar to previously released Jordan 13s. How do you guys feel about this pack overall?
One of them is okay.
Do you want to say which one or
The predominantly white one.
Mm-hmm.
The white upper. Let's just say that. Let's not start any racial tension here. That one looks like a shoe that would have been worn a la white black Air Jordan 1.
Yeah.
The one on the right, I am almost positive I have stumbled across that looking at fake Jordans over the years on the internet.
So you think that
It looks like a foo-foo colorway. Those pods on the side.
Not
the
for long, it won't be.
The two-tone pods. It bothers me.
I think
Says the guy in all black and white right now.
I think it's it's
We
an
look like the pack right now.
We are the Love and Respect
We
pack.
are. Which one are you? The respect or the love?
Both.
All right.
So Jason, how do you
Yo.
feel about the pack?
So, how do you feel about the pack? From a guess. Wins 6, 7. How much is it? 7 out of 10? Yeah. So you buy this at 30% off is what you're saying? It's, I like predominantly all white ones. Is it coming out? Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
But I
is
wouldn't
it-
buy the pack.
Is it
if
a
was
two-pair pack?
There's no point if you buy one and not the other, Jason.
Really?
What kind
No,
of
it's
fucking
perfectly
pack is
fine to
that?
do that. It's perfectly fine.
It's like
You
buying
don't
a car
need
without buying gas. You have to
to-
have
No, it's
both.
not. It has nothing, that's not
Exactly
even
the
a
same.
good. That's not
Really?
even a good.
I think that's a good
How
analogy.
many
It's not a
of
good
the
analogy.
OG remastered Air Max 97s do you have?
2.
Well, there's more than that.
But that's
Why
all
don't you
they've
have
come
them all?
up
But
with so
this
far.
pack is going to be that's the left foot and the other one's the right foot.
There you go. Yin yang.
Okay, so
Twins.
so now you got to find someone that's the same size as yours, and you can split the pack.
Yeah, if you sold it as a pack, it would be like
It'll be like the Lance Mountain effect.
$700. It would be just atrocious.
Really?
It'd be too expensive. The
Really?
Lance Mountain.
The Lance Mountain effect?
You know, like the
It
left and
rubs
the right
off.
shoe. No, you know what I mean. You get a different
the
left
white
and
one
right
rubs
shoe.
off into a black one, and the black one rubs off into a white one.
No, you know what I mean.
Oh, okay.
No, actually we don't. That's why we wanted you to clarify
Do you-
what
What
the
were you
Lance Mountain
Are you
effect
familiar with how the Lance Mountain Jordan 1 SBs worked?
is. Yes.
So you get a left royal and a right bread.
Okay.
But they're
and
all white.
reverse in
Right.
the other
Yeah.
colorway.
But they're all painted.
Yeah, but if you rub them off, you can
You can
have
see the
a
color
matching
underneath.
pair.
I get that.
complete
I was trying to
matching
figure
pair.
out what portion of this shoe process was.
Oh, I mean,
the
like if you
Lance Mountain
split it with your
effect.
friend,
Oh,
and then
I
you
see.
two can complete the pack.
Gotcha.
Jackass. So this quote unquote pack Would you get either of them with your own money?
With my own, I'd spend Joe's money on it, but not mine. I've never owned a 13, so I don't know. I'd have to buy a pair of 13s.
Flint's coming out. Would you get the Flints?
I don't like that color.
Oh, really?
Okay, I'll just say you'll never get a 13.
Navy.
Yeah.
It's like navy blue and white. Nah.
Jason doesn't
I'm
like
not a big
any
fan of
Jordans.
navy
I don't think
blue.
Jason likes
Navy.
Jordans.
It is not navy.
Except for Shadow Ones.
Well, whatever it is, Flint, whatever color you want to call
Flint's the gray.
it. But what? So it's gray. It's gray and blue.
Yeah.
I don't know,
not a big fan of gray and blue shoes.
I don't mind it. It actually looks not bad, man. Like, we'll have to see what the material.
He's already sold.
But see, the thing is that the predominantly white upper is literally a few splashes of red away from being the He Got Game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. That's a good thing.
Right, but just get the fucking He Got Game.
But they don't cost as little as this.
Really?
Yeah. You know, like all those people that ended up buying the Chinese New Year 12s because they couldn't get the taxis. It's like that.
Yeah, and those people failed there as well.
How did they fail?
Because
they got something they wanted.
Because if you're trying to buy a shoe that's close in the Jordan game these days, if you're trying to buy a shoe that's close because you didn't get the other one, then you don't have the patience to wait 18 months until it actually comes.
You don't know that. You can never predict that far ahead. Okay, when are the Taxi 12s, the actual Taxi 12s?
Within 3 to 5 years. Bank on it.
Thanks.
3 to 5 years.
I don't know where I'd be in 3 to 5 years, to be honest.
Yeah, you do.
Anyways, anything else you want to add before we move on?
Well, where do you stand other than
Me?
I don't mind it?
I have to see it in person. Like, I like the colorway, but I have a problem with Jordan 13s that are leather upper.
Gotcha.
It just looks kind of crackling effect thingy.
Okay.
I don't really like it.
It is tumbled.
Yeah, I think that looks kind of cheap in my opinion. But if you give me like the fabric
tumbled is
ones,
nice.
Gotcha.
I think
what
those
are you
are nice.
talking about? I would prefer the tumbled over fabric.
Here's a question that I'm going to just go off on a tangent a little bit here. With the past Bread 13 release, if anybody's out there that's listening that's had the originals and then has seen the new ones, can you confirm that upper where the laces are, the ribbing at the very top of the shoe, is that a fail in terms of retro on this new one? Because even the release photos for it looks like they botched the upper for that Bread 13, the one that's got 3M on it now. At the very top where the laces are, with that hidden lacing system, it looks like there's way too much piping on the upper part that's on either side of the lacing. Just a quick question there, because I didn't pick it up immediately because of that.
You can wait.
I know I can wait, and it's going to be on
It's
discount.
got 3M. That's all.
I know it's going to be on sale soon enough, but even then, it's an issue. Like, I don't remember that on the original. I'm sure I can dig out an East Bay catalog or something there that'll have it. But
someone was saying on the chat that one of those are supposed to be a GS pair.
Gotcha.
Perfect. Pierre can get it.
Nope, Buckeye City's gone to bed.
Okay, good night, Buckeye City.
See ya,
Thanks
Buckeye
for joining.
City.
Anyways, just to wrap it up, Jordan 13s, it's always a hit or miss for me. I think we are in the clear nowadays to wait everything out and see if it goes on sale. And
I think so.
If the sale price is good enough, it doesn't hurt to spend less to buy the shoes.
Something
right?
that you want. Yeah.
Like Bread 13s, we're all waiting for it, right? Not you. You don't like 13s.
Well,
you're not
now that
get
it's
them.
sitting around, now
you don't want them.
No. I would try a pair out, but
I don't know. What
I'm
that
not
means.
like. It's not high on the priority list.
Nah.
Yeah.
It is what it is. We'll have to see it in person. Tumble leather, not really for me, but those Bread 13s are looking nicer and nicer every day.
So Bread
I thought you were
13s
gonna get
or
those day one.
AJ1? Yeah.
Me?
Yeah, you were.
No, I
talking
realized
about
that. I realized I don't need to because I can save money if I waited.
So Bread 13s or AJ1 Flyknits?
Which one do I like more or less?
Which one are you gonna get if you had to choose one?
Bread 13s.
Okay.
But the raffle ticket for the ones won't cost him anything.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
The embarrassment of not picking up the shoe. Well,
All right, man. Let's move on to some of the pre-discussed. Oh wait,
Topicos.
let's jump into the chat.
Let's see what they got to say.
Beer Jedi asked us if the retro isn't 100% like the original, is it a fail for us
Like
in
if
terms of build?
anything, right?
If it's not 100%,
I think. Well, for retros are just reinterpret. For me, a retro isn't a duplicate of what you've had before, in my opinion. I think a retro is more of a reimagining, so to speak,
okay.
of what the original is. Let's just say, if materials are longer lasting, they'll find one that's as close as possible that will last a lot longer. let's just say the leather material back then, maybe they used a different kind of leather, and now we have better processing and better, the better treatment of leathers and how they do that. They're going to use that instead because it will last longer. So it's kind of a reinterpretation of the originals, if you ask me, not so much a replication.
Okay.
How do you feel about not 100% when it comes to...
No, I agree with that.
Okay.
I think if you're just going to make the exact same thing, which you probably can't anyway, from 1985 to make it to spec, would be really tough to even try to find the same materials, the same process, same factory, whatever. But I like the reimagining of the product with better materials. Kind of like what you've seen recently with so it's not reimagining anything, but the shattered backboard, the quality of it, and how people are saying that they want to see that more on new. So like the AG1 High Sail that has it, is the next step to see it in that tumbled leather throughout, like the whole upper, that I would like to see. So yeah, I don't mind the reimagining of it.
How about you? When they don't hit 100% looking like the exact original, how do you feel about those retros?
Well, we've been accepting of it.
Yeah.
We've tolerated it for so many years.
See, that's the key word there. We've tolerated it because there's no options, right?
That's exactly right. But now we're seeing remastered. This remastered claim is going to be put to the test here in the next little while if they do manage to re-release the twos, one or both of the original high top colorways, and then it's really going to be scrutinized with the release of the black cement 3s, in my opinion, because that's one key model where we've talked about production methods not being the same. The lasting process of the shoe can't be identical, but I know for my own personal tastes and hopes for the retro of the 3 that comes out with full Nike Air branding is, if you look at an original Jordan 3 from 88 and you see the toe cap where the elephant print is, on the original, it is so small and subtle.
Yes.
And then on the later retros that we've seen in 2010 and 2011,
double, triple the thickness, right?
It almost curves up onto the toe box.
How do you feel about that?
So it's all we've had.
Yeah.
And you look at it and it's just,
it looks like a completely different shoe if you look at the original off
just
footages and posters and stuff. It looks a lot different.
And it's tough to tell because nowadays you can't, for what we see for the players that get access to that stuff, it's usually a massive shoe because it's usually an athlete that's getting it first, whereas the catalog stuff, I'm guessing, is going to be sample size 9. So when you see an original,
scaling it down.
Yeah, exactly. So when you see a smaller shoe, it always kind of looks better because once you stretch it out, you get the ski effect or the duck foot effect because that toe box looks hella long when you're looking at it from
Do you think
heel counter to the
improvement in their understanding of technology and how to craft the shoe over time has made them kind of make subtle changes?
Well, I think they've had to.
Where they're like, hey, that toe box should be a little bit over the toe rather than whatever it is, because that will work or play better or wear better or whatever it may be.
I'm not sure.
No.
But I know that it's one of these two people. I think it was Tinker, 10, 15 years ago, or maybe Gentry Humphrey, that had made a comment that when they really wanted to dig into the vault to find retros, like the lasts were gone. Like they didn't keep them anymore. So the shoe, the last that they were using to build a certain shoe couldn't be built anymore. So you ended up having to try and deconstruct yourself and some of the others. Not like any shoe. The lasts are gone.
Yeah.
So they had to take it apart and then try and reverse engineer it in the lasting process of it. You know what I mean? To build the molds for it to make it look right. And you're going to be off by, being in construction, I realize that there's some tolerances that are so fine out there that when you're layering 3 or 4 different types of leather over top, a 32nd of an inch here and there, plus the stitching, you're going to end up with a different shape that people may or may not be happy with. So in some models, to answer Beer Jedi's question, in some models, I will pass completely. Yeah. But in others, it's the closest we've seen or we will get for a while. So that's what I'll take. I'll take what I can get, and that's been a knock for people, especially on some of the old forums where it's everybody's riding the dick. Like, you're just taking what you can get. Just take it what you can get.
I'm okay with that mentality, just because I wasn't able to buy shoes when I was 0 years old. You know what I mean? or like one.
It would have been impressive if you could at 0 years old.
But we are getting what we can get our hands on, but at the same time, maybe some of these changes that they've made, it's for the better of the build of the shoe. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If you have like the elephant print that's like 3 millimeters thick, chances are they're going to wear out a lot faster than if they were 3 times that width, right?
Well, not in your boxes on your shelves, but in people.
I'll wear them. Don't worry.
Yeah, sure you will.
They're in pretty good shape. But let's just say the last Jordan 3 retro that we got, the True Blues. How do you feel about the accuracy or the build of that shoe?
See, I haven't actually worn them out. On the surface,
I was just gonna say the same thing. I haven't worn them yet.
They look great.
No, but yeah.
But there's no way the OG was that thick.
No, I
padded.
don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. I never had the 3.
The way the shoe moved on Mike, the way it torques, and the way the toe creases.
Yeah, I know.
It looks like it's a fitted, thin material shoe.
But that leather would have been so soft too.
So is that
the originals? You look at that, you can tell that's.
Do you think his shoes are different than the ones that we could have got?
No, not back then. I'm saying for an '88.
Yeah,
those shoes looked like they were butter soft, like tumbled, but still soft.
His
leather.
were on the court.
See,
but do you think the consumer version of that shoe is the same as the one that he wore on court?
I think it's closer. Those two would be closer than what we're seeing nowadays, or what we saw in 2010 and 2011.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it looks like these new ones will probably last a lot longer. But we'll never know.
And I mean, they've made tweaks. People complain so much about the translucent icy soles turning piss yellow within 3 months of buying them, like the 2011 Concords, right?
Yeah.
Those little perimeters around the herringbone pods yellowed up within a month or two. And a lot of people are like, no, those are fake. You blah, blah, blah. So what do? They tinted a little more blue for something like the metallic 5s, and then significantly more for like the Legend Blue 11s.
Yes.
To try and combat it. So who are you trying to please here? Some people are going to be happy that it's, like you said, more durable, or it's going to stand up a little bit longer until the next 3 to 5 years between.
Some people like the yellowing. Some people like that aging effect.
I
don't mind it.
Hundreds of dollars sending them off to be icied up with the icy sauce at the local
I want my
customizer.
I want my retros to look as close as possible to the OG when they were both factory fresh. You know what I mean? I got a pair of Air Max 90 infrareds, and it's like the classic series, so it's like pre-yellowed.
Oh yeah,
like you know which series I'm talking about. And I don't know about how I feel about that, because I did want a pair of infrared 90s. Like every so often they'll release, and then you always cop a pair, right? And that pre-yellowed one, I'm like, that's not what I'm going for.
When did they release that? That was like
that's got to be 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, because they just re-released
like
it
2 years
like 2 years ago.
Yeah, so that was. Before that, they released the OG ones and the 90s and all that all on the same day, really. And I ended up getting it just because I wanted a pair of infrared 90s, and it was pre-yellowed, and that was the one I had to settle with.
Did you wear them?
I have worn them, I wore the ones. I haven't worn the 90s.
Interesting.
They're still nice. They would have yellowed anyways.
Actually, I bet you there's a pretty good demand for those.
Really? I should check out the market.
Yeah, exactly.
No. I love that shoe. So anything else you want to add before we move on?
What were we talking about?
We were talking about OGs being accurate to retros.
No, I think we covered it.
All right.
Yep.
Good question, Beard.
Thanks, Beard.
Thanks, buddy.
So we're going to move into some of the pre-discussed topics, man. Who wants to go first?
Joe can.
Joe.
Should we just get this out of the way?
I don't know. Yeah, let's do it. I like the spirit of your topic.
Oh, man.
So let's do this. You ready?
Sure.
So Joe's topic, let's introduce. Joe has very specific, taste in sneakers and the sneaker community as a whole. And
I don't even know if this even qualifies as a sneaker community. Well, it does. It's an update. So this is going to be a news segment that's going to turn into what really grinds my gears is basically what this is going on to, and it's also like, and I told you so much, or in a little bit. It's the informal news that I found out yesterday or the day before on Twitter that the ZO2 Prime has been delayed now from beginning of November until Christmas, apparently. This
is just because LeVar wants to hand deliver them like Santa.
So this is not official per se.
It's still speculative. It was someone on Twitter saying that their buddy who bought a pair got an email update saying that they haven't done it, but it was also on the heels of a well-known sneaker industry and sports industry analyst saying that the shoes won't be coming out because they haven't met their minimum buy to actually produce them.
So they haven't got enough purchases from people.
Apparently the number's 700 now, all across the board, including
700?
Including the first ones and the Showtime Lakers colorway after the draft. Apparently. So now they're saying Christmas is...
So they're going to miss the start of the season.
Yeah.
Their goal was to coincide the not launch, but like the NBA season, right? Or as close as possible. But it looks like they're not going to meet that target delivery
if
time.
they do it all.
Okay, first of all, I like to say that this is all speculative. This is all alleged. None of this is official news. We're just reiterating what we've read and this and that, and
call it a bridge to a discussion of a question to the people listening. Do you actually think these shoes are going to be made knowing that we're under 1,000 pairs? Like, who in their right mind from a manufacturing point of view is going to make less than 1,000 pairs of this sneaker?
Well, that's partially why they're that price.
Here's what I want to ask. Why
LeVar
don't they
said he liked that number?
Why don't they just
he might have to take some of that number.
Yeah.
Why don't they just make the 1,000 pairs and then sit on a few and then like just sell them whenever they can? Like, why don't they just take that's business, man. You take the risk once in a while. You put in some money, and then if shit doesn't sell, that's the risk you took.
Yeah.
Why? Like I said before, man, like this isn't a pre-order. This is a fucking Kickstarter.
Basically. Like GoFundMe.
They're not going to make any shoes until they fulfilled their fucking target. What kind of business works like? They don't have a business.
No, it's just Kickstarter.
Man,
we promise to give you shoes if you give us so much money.
That's ridiculous. Like, what about these people that paid in full day one?
Well, they're waiting. Hopefully their credit cards haven't been billed yet.
Of course they have. What are they just sitting on it?
Well, it's a Kickstarter. It doesn't actually get.
It's not a Kickstarter. It's a pre-order.
I get it.
And like you can't. Oh man, I'm just so frustrated with the way that this person decides to run a quote unquote business. It's like you're asking for all this money and then you don't want to deliver.
Kanye's on that trip now too.
But he's not taking. Oh, okay. But but they don't have any delivery problems that we don't know.
We don't know. Well, we would hope that they wouldn't. Are we up?
Anyways, we're up. Sorry about that. It was just some crazy issues. Anyways, what were we talking about?
The fact that it's...
Well, Adidas can produce, so they can take a pre-order for the Yeezy Wave Runner 700, not have to shell out all of that money like they wasted on the boot 950s, and then have them go straight to discount.
But at least like it's produced and like people are buying it.
Yeah. But that's what I mean, is Adidas has the power to actually make that shoe, whereas
Adidas
Big
has
Baller
a lot
brand,
of money.
Big Baller brand
Don't have money.
has zero money.
Yeah.
And so they probably won't. So Matt Powell at NPD Sport One Source or whatever he's at now was saying that it's not going to happen because no factory's going to touch it for that small amount of minimums.
Right.
So yes, you can theorize that at $500 a pair, you'd think that you'd be able to get shoes made.
So do you speculate that they have a bunch of prototypes that they've been, wearing on the court and all this stuff, but they have not like locked down a factory yet to produce these things? Is that what you think?
Or maybe they've got a factory that said, yeah, we'll make them. Here's the prototype for X amount of dollars. Get reach a threshold for funding for pairs made, like a Kickstarter or GoFundMe, and then we'll go into fabrication. The thing is that some of these other people who were kind of bashing Matt on there were saying that it's easy, you could get it done, all you need to do is find a partner and get it, but ballpark $100,000-$200,000 and it'd be no problem. And so Matt's rebuttal to that was, okay, then why haven't they done that? Like, why hasn't someone stepped up to give them that cash? It's nice.
It's a risk for all those people,
for sure. And I mean, it's nice on the surface when you see other athletes and celebrities step up and buy pairs to endorse, because that's essentially zero risk as well. Yeah, but when
they're only throwing, they're only buying less than half a dozen pairs, or if that.
Yeah, and then
that's nothing,
but nobody stepped up because maybe this isn't a valid business venture. Like, why hasn't someone stepped up? If this is the next realm of entrepreneurship and this is going to be the best move for them, then why hasn't that happened? And people are still, like we talked about the very minute that this came up, that these ZO2 primes were coming and LeVar had essentially burned so many bridges. Like, the clock's running and the meter's running on how much money he's actually cost the kid and the family still, I don't think that's something to be ignored. Sure, you can honor the entrepreneurial spirit and say that it's cool that someone wants to start out. That would be said and valid in my opinion, that if he hadn't burned all of those bridges, if he had just come out and said, my kid's coming out of UCLA, we're starting a new venture and all this, but saying that we're not taking less than $1 billion from Adidas or Nike. We're not taking less than $1 billion in that. But that, like, Fultz and I'm forgetting the other rookie. These guys are signing contracts, cash money for $10 million, in your opinion. Okay. But like I'm saying, the meter's running now. Like, at what point $10 million to have done nothing, and then at some point they could have funded. If it's a 2, 3, 5 year deal, 5 years down the road with that 10 mil, you can start whatever the fuck you want. Yeah, you can do whatever you want with that money.
They could have price point the shoe higher than the entry level, like Kyrie when it came out, because it was like 110. PG was like 110, 120. If they had even went a little bit higher and said, we're going to be a little bit more expensive, it's going to be 150 as a starting point, you probably would have got a lot more people on board with it, because he was drafted.
So much money selling at 150,
and that's the different thing here.
Lose a lot of money. But what if he gained, 10 times the amount of people and not been an asshole about it?
But if you made a shoe for let's just say $200 and you sell it for $150,
okay, well, it depends on the cost of it, right?
The more you sell, the more money you're going to lose. Yeah, and I think he's pricing. Look, take this with a grain of salt. I think he priced it right. As in, not for the consumers, for himself. Because if you're making 700 or to 1,000 shoes, each unit, the price is going to be astronomical. And if it doesn't price it at $500, he'll be losing money at every single unit. Like, look at the... I know this is kind of off topic, but that's what happened with the Sony PlayStations. Yeah. The first generation of these machines, because of the cost of technology and everything, they were losing money on every single unit sold, even though they were selling at $700-800 Canadian at the time. But based on the strength of third-party, licensing deals, that's how they recovered a lot of their money. But we can't be like, they sell 10,000 T-shirts and that'll go into the price of the shoes, so now they'll break even. Now they can sell it at $400.
Big Baller Brand is not really licensing out any technical.
If anything, they're fucking
accolades from the shoe.
If anything, they're once the shoe releases, I'll be surprised. I won't be surprised if all these big shoe companies starting that's our tech. What are you doing with our tech? You're copying our style. That could happen. I'm not saying it will.
If there's any tech in it whatsoever other than that Ortholite sock liner.
And I don't even know if they actually have...
Basically.
I don't even know if they have the licensing to deal to use any technology that's in the shoe.
That'd be the cost for
even aesthetically speaking, it's very similar to a lot of existing silhouettes, and they're in kind of a dangerous territory when it comes to these things. And if they were big enough, or they gain enough,
if they were big enough ballers,
no, I mean if they do too much business, they might start getting a lot of attention from the other sneaker companies that might be not too fond of the similarities between their shoe and their own signature silhouettes.
They'd have to get pretty big for anything like a cease and desist to come out.
That's what I mean. Yeah, if they stay small time, they're
not worth their effort.
It's just baffling that the projected numbers so far are 700 pairs.
Yeah.
across all colorways.
Well, and then just,
Allegedly.
I mean, we've talked about so many things that have to go right for this to be a legitimate venture. Like, so many dominoes have to go, and all of these stars have to align for all of these things to happen for it to really gain traction. But if you just, you know, look at the unfortunate side of it, in retail, like shirts, like clothing stuff, generally the wholesale cost of an item is usually like 45 to 55, just call it 50% is what it usually costs.
Right.
So call it a $50 Supreme t-shirt at wholesale, it's going to be $25. And then fabrication, usually at a big enough volume, is usually 45 to 55% of that as well. So call that $13. You know, a lot of people have said that the quality of Jordans have been so shitty in the past, and they're asking $200 is that it's a $12 shoe. No, it's probably a $50 to a $75 shoe in that area. So now if you go backwards and do the pricing of that, take those 700 pairs at 500, 250s wholesale, fabrication might be 125 if this is how he priced it, like Jay was saying in there. You know, we're only talking about maybe a couple $100,000 of actual operating profit on the shoes alone themselves. And then, like I said, the meter's running. He could have had a check for $10 million cut day one, and now you're looking at
possibly his own shoe already in the works. But
yeah,
it's
unfortunate. And now we got wind that there's going to be a reality show involved, and it's.
You want to talk about that?
Nope, I really don't.
Okay. Well, all I know so far is that there's a reality show in the works about the family. I have no idea. I have no details on that. I failed to read any further into it. But we're not even talking about the shoe itself. We're talking about the business and the way that they're doing. Like, they're fucking shaky as shit right now. And I feel bad for any of the supporters of this brand and, you know, people that paid day one $500 US dollars for this shoe, and now they might not even get it until Christmas at the earliest. That's what we've heard, anyways. Unless they fulfill like hundreds more pair like within the next few weeks. But now,
unlikely. Why would anyone, even fans, unless there were some type of Kickstarter update with like a red thermometer for ball temperature donations or whatever to let you know the progress, to let you know exactly where your money's going, since there's like, why, even if you were a fan being kept in the dark this way, why would you even bother punching in your 16-digit credit card number to pre-order these shoes? Do you know what I'm saying though? Like, we're so in the dark, or these fans are left so in the dark, that there's no progress. It's just pre-order and we'll see what happens. Okay.
Well, that's the thing.
That's disappointing.
That's what I'm trying to say. I don't want to treat this as a pre-order as much as a Kickstarter. It's just disappointing for the actual fan of the brands. Like Pierre says he likes this brand.
He's done a 180.
He's
done a Pierre
getting sucked
Filipino flip-flop is what's happened here.
He's loving it. And now that he saw the Facebook fucking
is that why he's not
show
here? Is there
or whatever
some trailer on tonight?
Probably. He's not at a wedding. He's at
I'm not
Ball
saying
in
it.
the
Not saying it. Not saying it.
Ball in the family.
Let's get into the chat real quick and see what the viewers have to say. Okay.
We've had a continuation talk about amongst the live chatters about quality and shape and things like that. And
I think they're still talking about the 13, and they've fucking completely given up about the Ball family.
I don't
blame them at all.
Anything about the Ball thing that they want us to discuss?
Nope.
Fair enough.
No one's even mentioned it. So either we're on serious delay or the audience has not spoken.
No, we're good. I think how they're treating this topic is completely, accurate.
Fair enough.
Accurate.
All right, so let's move on to Jason. You kind of have something that
it's kind of a two-parter, and it's something I've been thinking about for a little while, and I've seen mention. We've talked about it a little bit, and what's that?
Sorry,
fuck baller brand. That's right.
All right, Dan.
So you didn't purchase yours, say?
One-legged lister is not a big fan of the big baller brand, and I completely understand.
Yeah, nice alliteration. Wait, no, rhyming. No, it's not alliteration.
Fuck that.
Well, that's the thing, man. He didn't say. I don't think when people say fuck the big baller brand, they don't mean the shoe itself. They don't say fuck the Z02. They legit think that the brand is a joke.
Yeah, I agree.
So even if they make a fantastic shoe at $500, the way that he's let's move on real quick. The way that he's treating this company like a fucking, I don't know, like a science project.
It's a little bit.
It's kind of disappointing that, you know, people out there that are like true entrepreneurs. I'm not saying he isn't, but people out there that are actually doing things to further the cause of their investment or company, like those guys are risk takers. This guy is waiting for people to hand him money.
Yeah, that's why he keeps going on different
TV shows,
WWE and like wherever else is someone's going to pay attention to him.
But that said, I did see about the same amount of Big Baller Brand T-shirts in New York a couple weekends ago that I did Adidas Ultra Boost and Yeezys.
So let's move on.
3 Triple B shirts in New York City.
So at the end of the day, the shoes, I have no comment because nobody knows anything about the shoe in person. The brand itself,
those are probably knockoff.
I'm not a big fan
from down at
Canal Street
already? BBB's shirts.
That's
Dude, you didn't check that.
I didn't.
So, that would be awesome.
Should we just make them?
Yeah.
You can just make them.
Yeah.
There you go.
Fucking massive baller brand.
Massive. Bigger baller brand.
Right.
Biggest baller brand. Anyway.
Supreme baller brand.
Supreme baller brand.
So, the shoe, no comment. The brand, too early to make, like, fucking, you know, permanent things I can't take back.
To judge.
You never know, man. Maybe this time next year we'll be like, oh man, I can't believe Baller Brand has a new shoe.
Supreme.
I can't wait. You never know. You just never know.
That will never happen. I will never be excited about a new fucking Baller Brand coming
lister.
out.
Pay less. Hashtag pay less ZO2s.
Nice. Yeah. In the Walmart, in Kmart, wherever.
That's the beauty of this shoe, man. The day it comes out, it already looks like it's on discount.
What? BBB shirts are sold at dollar stores
in New York.
I don't know if they're authentic
now I regret
BBB shoes.
Authentic?
So good.
Of course they're not authentic because they're
for
$50 on fucking.
Maybe someone bought. Do you think the shirts have? They must have shipped. You've seen some.
Yeah.
In IRL.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, IRL. Yeah, you can get them.
All right, I'm ready to move on, guys. You want to move on?
Yeah, let's do it.
Off the balls.
Okay.
Off the balls.
Kurtz, you got a topic that you.
Yeah.
Would
So
like
I
to
was saying, it was. We loosely talked about it before. I've seen other podcasts kind of touch the surface a little bit. So
you're steamed.
This portion of the podcast brought to you by Vapor Select. You jackwagon.
So he didn't have to fucking
my mesothelioma.
jump in and cut me off. He just cut me off with fucking smoke. Anyway, so my topic was this talking about female endorsed athletes.
Serious topic now.
And why, they're not getting, or are they getting the focus that they deserve. So one, signature shoes and more models, strictly for the female crowd. And two, there is quite a difference in endorsement, like pay when you start comparing them as well, which isn't, not really up to me, but it seems a bit unfair when you start seeing the sliding scale between male athletes and female athletes. So it's just more about, and the caveat to some of that is that our brands catering to women in the way that they should, and which ones are doing a good job and which ones are doing a shitty job.
Okay, here we go. This is a touchy subject if we approach it the wrong way. So I really do encourage. I'll try, but you know me. And we are live. So I encourage the chat to jump in at any time we say something that they don't agree with or something they extremely agree with, or if they have their own opinions. Okay, so chat, we need you for this one.
So let's start off with saying that Serena Williams is by far the highest paid female endorsed athlete, which is true. She is.
Okay.
Fact. Reaching in the $30 million a year range. She's probably one of the most successful in the realm of like championships and titles won, so yada yada, kind of going on with that. Never had a signature shoe.
Okay.
Does she deserve to have one, and why wait to almost like the end of a career. Not that she's ending her career, but she's in her mid-30s, starting to have a family, you know, whereas, you know, other athletes are getting them at the beginning of their careers, you know.
I understand.
So, and what would that do, you know, by having a signature shoe?
I think a signature shoe isn't the only option for athletes out there to make their name, you know, well known, or, you know, have a shoe that's dedicated to them. The example I always like to give when it comes to signature shoes, and that is, and how it's not absolutely essential, would be Russell Westbrook. I always have a hard time saying that. Russell Westbrook. He wears Jordans. He's a Jordan signature athlete. They don't give him his own shoe.
Not yet.
Well, it doesn't seem like he's likely to get his own shoe. He'll have his own colorway of that shoe, which is great as well. And maybe Serena Williams not having her own Air Serena or whatever, maybe that's not a bad thing. Maybe she's representing a brand that she grew up with and that she really liked, and which is Nike, and they make tennis shoes. And like, of course, you brought up the fact that female endorsed athletes do not get as nearly as much money as the male athletes. But we are talking about a business, okay?
Yeah.
And my thought and my train of thought when it comes to professional sports is the value of a player is not so much how well they do in the sport. That has a lot to do with it, but that's not 100% of it. I think the absolute value a player has in, you know, like dollar-wise, is how much money they can make for the person that currently employs them. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and I think she's probably the most dynamic or most interesting female athlete personality.
Here's the thing. She has a lot of money from winnings.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
more from endorsements.
When we're talking about female tennis, why does Kornikova, who has never won shit, why was she one of the highest paid athletes in her respective sport? You know what I'm trying to get at, right?
Color and racism?
Yes. I know that's why I said could be a touchy subject. But she hasn't won anything, and the only thing is, like, you know, she's marketable because she's pretty. And at the time she was young, and she also, you know, has
different generation.
Yeah,
you know, obviously.
So of course, at the time, like, she probably gets the most how do you say it? The most TV time. Even if she's playing like bottom ranked games. Yeah. So she's marketable.
We're seeing it now, and I hate to compare this because I believe she made a major tennis final, but we're seeing now with Jeannie Bouchard.
Yeah.
In tennis.
She's a Nike athlete, right?
Yeah. She's very attractive, but now she's getting that similar coverage of people are tuning in.
Is it because she's good or good looking?
Well, she has not had. I mean, she was
ranked,
and she was also concussed at the 2015 after in the U.S. Open,
right,
in the locker room. She took a tumble after taking a soak or a ice bath or whatever, and conked her head and was concussed.
She fell when she was pooping,
so she hasn't been performing.
Oh, man. That's where we got to watch out now.
That happens. I mean, statistically, yes.
Happened to me yesterday.
Okay. Yeah.
I should stop pooping standing
in
up.
Your icy bath. And you're like,
here we go.
Wow. So, I mean, when you look at the top athletes, female endorsed athletes are the highest paid ones. 8 out of the top 10 are all tennis players, which is, you know, weird that it's all in one sport. I don't know.
Because it's a singles sport, so they get more coverage and more.
Also, outfits.
Full outfits.
No, like I'm talking, they're to draw an audience. You're looking at attractive women playing the sport. Unfortunately,
right. Okay, that's true. There are. I think that
is that
like
all
I said, tennis is a very female tennis, especially for a lot of dudes watching, is a very marketable sport. Would you agree?
Yes,
sure.
And it's based like it's fucking shallow as shit, but it's based on, you know, the attractiveness of the ladies, and you know, like it's just a lot to do.
I don't think it's all to do with that per se. I think that is a factor, but I don't think it's like the factor
in her divisions. But what I'm trying to say is, like, that's what I mean. Like, how much an athlete is quote unquote worth is how much they can generate revenue for whoever's, you know, employing them. So I think that the ladies, when it comes to professional sports, I know it sounds shitty, they don't generate nearly as much money as the men's athletes.
But then I was reading an article today, and they were saying that last year the women's final, or so this year the women's final and the men's final was pretty much on par with viewership. Like it was almost the same. And then a couple years ago, it was actually like 5 times as high for the female final than it was for the men's final. Now, is that because of who's in it? Probably, partially. Also, Serena Williams is, a dynamic player, so that was very interesting for people to watch. But yeah, it's again, it just seems like such a lopsided kind of, and you can say the same thing about soccer as well. It's like the paid athletes, male paid athletes versus the female, is hugely lopsided. But I mean, I think Serena Williams is definitely deserving of something, and I think that could go a long way to connecting with female sneakerheads and other female athletes. And one of the girls that I was reading about, what was her name? Elena Del Don that plays, like her, her growing up, it was Cheryl Swoops, I guess, was the only Nike original silhouette that came out, the Air Swoops. And that drove her to become an athlete and to look forward to that sneaker and I think under the right circumstances, because you have a lot of athletes like Alex Morgan and Hope Solo and stuff that are playing, now that soccer is becoming such a huge sport in North America, that can't you have a signature cleat or signature shoe, lifestyle shoe or something, whatever that kind of goes with them. I think somewhere in there could be room again to start offering female original silhouettes for sure.
So it looks like the highest, like you said, the highest paid female athlete right now is Serena Williams. And someone brought up a good point, saying when it comes to that sport, do their shoes sell in general? Do people buy tennis shoes anymore? Like, could that be a problem?
Really? Nike Air Vapor Federer?
That's one.
Yeah.
Like, are
do
you still
people buy tennis shoes? Yes, they buy tennis shoes. How far back
look
do you
at
want to
Adidas.
go? You want to look at Stan Smith's?
No, I don't mean that kind of tennis shoes. I mean like shit that's made
performance.
today.
Yeah.
For performance.
Joe Wilfred Songa was wearing the Pharrell collab.
The tennis hue?
No.
That's a tennis
the
shoe.
On Court, that new tennis pack, I
Right.
think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He was wearing them today, and they looked amazing.
Okay.
I didn't see the end of the match because I was
Andre Agassi, the AirTech Challenge. Like
now we're talking about the 80s again.
Yeah, but I mean, there's still, I think there's a possibility for it.
But so what's your question? Is that if no one's wearing it casually, they shouldn't have a signature shoe?
I'm not saying that at all. I mean...
Well, you're asking. What's your question?
Okay, my question is, if there isn't as wide of a market for people buying tennis shoes, is it a gamble for Nike to invest in, a signature athlete's shoe, like Serena Williams getting her own shoe? Would that be a gamble for Nike?
But look at what they're paying. Yeah, see, this is where it gets, you got to like Tarantino this, because I completely agree that on the bottom line level, women's sports, unfortunately, isn't as big a draw as men's sports are. And if you want to look at it from the pure bullshit human species aspect, to a certain extent, modern day sports, especially like football, since they've got a multi-billion dollar TV contract in play, they're the modern day gladiators is what it comes down to. Look at how big MMA's gotten in the sale of of UFC when the Fertittas got rid of UFC. Like how many billions they bought it for peanuts basically and made a huge bank. So like there are literal and figurative sense that modern day male sports are the modern day gladiators. That said, with no bottom line, there's such a, how do you say this? Someone's going to have to step up and just make a woman's signature shoe. It's going to have to happen, because you're looking at, if Elena Delle Donne saying that Swoops was her inspiration, you're looking at 50% of the sports out there are going to be played by women. Yeah. They're going to be played by young girls. There's no reason why there shouldn't be at this point, I don't think, especially knowing how grossly overpaid some of the lower tiered athletes, knowing that lower tiered male athletes that are getting deals, knowing that the companies that have them under their umbrella for promotional endorsement purposes will never recoup that money. It took LeBron until year 11 or 12 to be profitable for Nike. And now, you know, he signed a lifetime deal, probably worth $1 billion or whatever the hell it's worth.
Was he a
because
baller?
now, he had LeVar in that agreement. So now I think it's heinous and disgusting the fact that it hasn't happened yet on the female.
Oh, shout
level.
out Pierre first of all.
No,
Hey,
that's
Pierre.
But the other thing I wanted to mention too is that there's a lot of focus on entertainment. You know, so you have Stella McCartney, you have Rihanna, you have all these people that have no sports ability whatsoever, and they're getting not their own line, but they're getting one kind of like what Eugene was saying was like,
well, the
it's like
Fenty line of Puma has been widely successful, and
True.
Insider analysts have said
That's very far from an athletic
Puma,
shoe, though.
Correct.
Fair enough, but then why is that focus happening and not on actual female athlete that are sponsored that don't even get a shoe that is within their own
someone
line?
Gets to use the excuse, and I think it's disgusting that they get to use this excuse that there just isn't the amount of money on the back end like there is for
It is a
males.
business.
You talk about
I understand.
the disparity for millions and millions of young girls are playing soccer right now. Why isn't there a
So they have to buy a
whole
Messi
solo-
shoe or a CR7 shoe, and that's it. They can't be.
Why isn't there like a woman who's got her own offshoot of Mercurial? You know what I mean?
And why does every female shoe that comes out need to be associated with the color pink or some
is true.
sort of?
Because
I've talked about this before.
Because it's being ran much like what we've seen with the decisions in some of the American politics there, where women are concerned. It's done in a boardroom largely populated by men, thinking that this is what they need.
Absolutely.
And this is what they'll buy.
Decisions made, right? Like that's.
It's basically. I'm not saying this in like a mean way, but like, as soon as the current generation of decision makers die off, you're gonna see a brand new generation like the young people right now that are a lot more open-minded when it comes to design, that are suitable for men and women. I think that generation, when they're in charge, you'll see a huge kind of change in the landscape of sneaker design. Now, the business end, like, I would know nothing about, but like I said before, the only reason I can think of why ladies don't get as much signature shoes or the attention of a signature shoe is that the people that are paying for these projects probably don't believe in that product or the ability for that athlete to move units. I think it's as simple as that, even though it sounds bullshit. But
like I said, they get to use the excuse that there's not enough money on the back end.
Well, they're like,
not enough people are watching. Like we've seen, we've seen comparables in tennis, but like you were saying with footy, with soccer, there's such a gap there that will never ever be met. Because
I suppose. We're heavily influenced by the people that we see and watch.
Well,
but
in these Premier League teams, like there are franchises out there. Like Manchester United's worth billions and billions of dollars. I can't think of. I apologize to any of the female listeners, but I can't name one professional women's soccer team anywhere in the world, unfortunately. And I
want to jump in right now. Beer Jedi, he's saying that he has experience with product sales and everything, and he also agrees that ladies are not exclusively tied to the colored pink when it comes to apparel, but he says that it's proven under his company that pink does outsell every other color when it comes to ladies buying them up.
Sure, when it's like the fucking dominant color that comes out, you don't have a choice. It's just like we were talking about other shoes. Like we have no choice to buy that retro the way that comes out. Well, when a company offers, 3 colors and one of them is always pink, fuck sure. Like you of course you're stuck with the lowest common denominator.
Well, that's the thing, man. Like he's saying that if you give them options, they'll still choose pink. And it looks like the people that are making these shoes, they're like, well, they're going to choose pink anyways. Might as well just give them what they want.
I don't know. Yeah.
One-legged Lister pipes up. There's a whole store called Pink.
That is true.
That's true. Yeah. But then that's the issues with gender equality and just kind of like, raising our 2 boys, we're trying to just let them choose whatever color they want, and somehow through subconscious media and watching TV and just being around other people, it's weird to see how they just gravitate towards blue, and how like, oh, I don't want pink's a girl color. Like, we never taught them that.
Yes, that is odd.
And it's that you're so surrounded by your influences,
right.
Not our influences. Like, you're trying to remove those boundaries and trying to let them be open and choose what they want. But there's so many things that are subconscious that are just there telling you that you should be doing something a certain way, or that you can't have that because of that color, or you're this because of that.
One local bright spot has to be Lululemon in terms of women's athleisure wear and things like that.
They do have some aggressive looking apparel for the ladies,
and it's not just all pink.
If any pink at all, really.
Yeah,
they have a lot of monochromatic options for their signature lines, right? So Lululemon, a very modern brand.
Yeah.
So it looks like eventually we're gonna get there. Of course, pink. If they like pink, give them that option. Yeah. And that's what Steph Smitty is saying, that it's about options. Let them choose between the pink or the more, I don't even want to say this, but like more gender neutral colors. Not that there should be any gender neutral colors.
No, there should just be colors.
Exactly.
And you can choose whatever you want.
But every time a ladies exclusive shoe comes out, it's either pink or you can get a pink.
Yeah, or there's some sort of pale
or
pastel color associated with it.
Exactly. And I don't exactly see how that is a forward progressive movement when it comes to unifying people's taste.
To get back on the sneaker side of that, in '97 there was actually a women's only Air Jordan released,
right? That
not too many people know about.
Mm-hmm. And the name of this line is?
Oh no, it was a woman's Air. It was a woman's Air Jordan.
Yeah. And what color with a pink?
I remember black and white. We'll have to bring up a picture to actually figure this out. But it was done, and so you'd hope that there wouldn't be any bias in there. But like, we're hearing that pink is consistently the biggest seller, so obviously sell what moves. Is there a reason why Nike hasn't ponied up the loot for a signature basketball shoe?
Do you think it's because the WNBA just doesn't make money?
Oh man,
their viewership is a little bit lower than it used to be.
Even lower?
It's a little bit lower
WNBA
in the last few years,
already sucked in the rating.
Yeah.
And like, do you watch WNBA?
I don't even watch regular NBA.
How about you, Joe? Do you watch WNBA?
No. I'm not going to lie. When Lisa Leslie was playing back in the day and I knew that she could dunk, I'd watched a few WNBA games. The whole We Got Next concept when it first came out, I watched it.
Everyone in the chat, if you watched WNBA, let us know. But do you think that's a problem? If nobody's watching these games, that means they won't have the TV time to wear these shoes. Therefore, the education towards the consumers about the shoe in existence and what's happening with them, like that equals not being able to move the units. Like
that's part of it for sure. You want people out there seeing what you're creating and stuff like that. But that's also part of the company's,
the product
whoever
is
it
is pretty bad too. The WNBA itself.
Yeah, but it's also up to the company to, whoever that may be, Nike or Adidas or whoever, to step up and actually offer something like, hey, we're gonna start offering, whatever it is, this line, or pick someone and start promoting it and finding a way of doing it. If it really matters to them and their female demographic really matters to them, then they need to change and be at the forefront of it.
I think the main issue with signature athlete and their shoes is that when you watch Michael Jordan play, okay, he was wearing his Air Jordans, and no matter what commercials they made for the Air Jordans when they come out,
it's hard to see.
The best commercial for Air Jordans is actually watching Mike play on the court. That was the best commercial for the shoes, in my opinion.
Performance,
but if they're not even airing WNBA games, how are you going to be able to promote the WNBA signature athlete's shoe?
I don't know.
That's exactly it. You just have to call it advertising at this point. There's no way to get that advertising out to people.
Right.
And so now this is where it kind of answers your question of how is there such an imbalance with the artists. The artists are everywhere on social media. They're
a lot more prominent than female athletes. I understand.
Absolutely. Yes. Apparently that Puma Fenty line for Rihanna,
gangbusters.
from day one.
Mm-hmm.
Kanye West, 2 years Adidas. Just saying.
But then if you wait until
Why?
but if you wait until Serena Williams, retires and to bring out a signature shoe, then she doesn't. You're not going to see viewership of that either. You're not going to see the person playing in that performance shoe.
So, what do you think is the best way to kind of?
I just showed Gino the
know.
first women's Air Jordan in '97.
Yeah.
Its own
I
model,
think it's
not
because
just Sky
it's
Jordan from
a
'85.
very small, like a short. It looks like an infant shoe. Everything
It's a woman's shoe.
Yeah, the proportions
So now
are
you
kind of
don't-
messed up.
so you
Maybe
guys-
it could be the picture.
No,
So
I'm just
women's
saying.
proportions are messed up to you guys?
No.
No,
I'm
I
saying
just
the
said
picture
I
could
thought
be.
it was an infant shoe because of the way that it just feels very bulky and
Okay.
that's all.
So, in your mind,
But I can
what,
see where it's where the
I'm
in
gonna
line with the
see if I can
13.
get this up to
what do
the
you
camera.
what do you guys think the athletic lines, the big brands, what do they have to do to make sure that the female athletes are represented properly with their apparel and their sneakers? What do they have to do? How would you do?
I
to
think
fix it?
for Serena Williams, she doesn't have to do anything more. She's already
Just
done
offer her own shoe?
I think it's at that point where it's just, she could have a line of clothing. She could have.
I bet she does have her own line of clothing.
I mean, sure maybe she does. I
wouldn't
don't
personally get it, but
Well, and I mean, Federer has it. Rafael Nadal has it. Like all these guys have the versions of it. What does it take for the female side to have it? Like, what do you have to actually prove?
it's just odd to me that maybe for all we know, Serena Williams doesn't want her own shoe. We'll never know.
True.
And
Yeah.
it could be as simple as that. You want
Yeah.
your own shoe, Serena? Nah, I'm good. I like what you guys make for me. So maybe it could be as simple as that, right?
Who in their right mind would say no?
No, because there'd have to be money involved. There'd have to be money involved, and that's another risk reward. Someone's going to have to cut a check here, because with an athlete as big as Serena, for her to be contractually associated with the signature model, more money will have to be involved.
Yeah.
And so again,
you
whichever
think it's a money thing?
whichever
Well, I mean,
rich
it is.
white guys at the back end of this, let's just call it what it is here.
Yeah.
Whichever rich white guys at the back end of this, allegedly, can use the excuse that there's just no money in the sport because no one's tuning in to watch it much as the guys are. And yes, we might be overspending money on some of these male athletes, but at least they're getting viewership out there, and that's why we're paying $5 million a piece to 10 guys,
And that's what I
to
mean.
wear a hyper dunk.
And that's what I mean, man. Like the male athletes, the people that are paying them for the endorsements, they see the value in those athletes. And I think they're shortchanging the female athletes, maybe
Yeah.
because they aren't generating
And
the
maybe
income for them. You never
maybe
know.
you have to take the loss in order to gain in the future.
And that's exactly
your consumer. Half the planet is fucking male and half the planet is female.
You guys want to jump on the chat in a minute?
Yeah. So you can't tell me that there isn't people that were willing to buy shoes. Like there's not enough female consumers, because that's fucking a myth.
Yeah.
There's plenty of, just like male, there's plenty of female consumers that are willing to buy this. We just don't give the opportunity for it.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's that,
And you take the loss and you do it.
Who's gonna give first? Is the big shoe brands gonna be like, we're gonna make your own signature shoe, and then we're gonna pump tons of money into your sport to make sure that you guys get noticed? And then
I don't know, like Steph, I saw the comment they were saying is like, promote someone in the WNBA, because she's like, I can't name one. We named one here, Elena Deladon or whatever.
That's
like
the problem.
But I couldn't think of one outside of
it's
that.
a vicious circle, man. They don't promote it. We don't know. And we don't know about it, so they won't promote it.
I mean, like when the Women's World Cup was here, the amount... Well, so here's a good point. Was in one of the articles I was reading today. The female Women's World Cup for soccer was here, and the U.S. team won, which was like a huge, great opportunity.
Right.
You have so much focus. You have... I forget what the viewership was. This is like astronomical. Like you have every country is looking at the results of this.
Yeah.
Obviously not the same as men's World Cup, but still huge viewership, good opportunity.
Yeah.
Nothing came out of it.
Wasted opportunity.
Wasted opportunities. We have some great Canadian soccer athletes, notably right now. There's Alex Morgan and Hope Solo, and amongst others that are there. But but Alex Morgan for sure.
Yeah.
Again, so there's good opportunities just kind of wasted, right?
Forget just viewership in a sport like soccer, football. The sheer volume, the sheer numbers of female players.
Mm-hmm.
You won't see it. You know what? The WNBA, unfortunately, like what's going on in the chat there is they're asking like who really watches the WNBA, and I think Beer Jedi may have misheard you. You were saying that tennis viewership was the same, slightly larger for the last year's.
So
US
this
Open.
last right now, this last championship that went on or whatever, it was like
The US Open's
Wimbledon?
going on.
yeah.
right now.
So for before that, I think it was
Wimbledon.
the men's final had like 1 point
Right.
whatever 7,
Yeah.
and the women's was 1.5.
Right.
And then a couple of years before that, there was
Sure.
the women's final that was
So-
like 5 times.
But as it pertains to like WNBA, and I mean, there's not one basketball player on your list of female highest paid there.
no, there's not.
Right. So
And is tennis a more respected world
yes.
renowned sport
Absolutely.
than
Well,
obviously
tennis has been around a
women's
lot
basketball
longer.
is the equivalent of
Yeah.
NHL hockey in terms of viewership. Hockey's considered one of the big four, but as soon as you cross the border into the States,
Right.
college football and basketball are
Slaughters it.
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
So NBA is probably, unfortunately, at this point, a lost cause in terms of women's signature athletes, but in terms of the volume of female players for soccer, every point that you've made so far about having a women's signature athlete, whether it's American, because we know that there are a lot of American women football players, young girls coming up through those programs. There's no reason why they shouldn't be, just on sheer volume alone. Forget viewership at the back end. Find some way to get an American women's football player up on a pedestal like we've done for so many years. And no, Pierre, I don't like off-white.
one like listener saying is tennis is mad boring, which is
No, man. Tennis, when it comes to tennis, is like NASCAR, man. Like NASCAR.
what?
Let me finish. I don't mean the actual
here comes.
comparison of the sports. I mean like the entire intensity of each race, as pertained to each match in tennis. It's all surrounded by the story. Like so and so have never beat so and so in this fucking kind of court.
Yeah,
and then
the
you
court's
build on a
different.
story.
Yeah.
They spend a lot of time and energy. These broadcasters, anyways, and the new and the stations that cover this shit. They spend a lot of time and effort into covering why each matchup is important. And because it's a one-on-one game, you can have time to build up that story.
It's like a mini prize fight.
More or less.
Yeah.
And that's why tennis is intriguing to a lot of casual viewers. I think tennis is more casually friendly to watch for,
better than
like
golf.
than golf or even WNBA.
And see, golf is a weird aside there, because in terms of relatability, women's PGA golf, women's professional golf is orders of magnitude closer to what the average golfer should be watching, emulating, and looking at. It's just that the men are a freak show of human nature for how far they can hit the golf ball.
Really? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it looks like the weekend warrior when it comes to, the average Joe golfer.
Yeah.
They should be looking at what the pro ladies is doing and try and learn from it. But what do you think? Like, what is more casually watchable for the people that don't usually watch sports? Ladies tennis or ladies basketball?
Tennis.
Exactly. And is it because of the sport itself, or do you think it's because of what I said? There's
That's
a story
funny.
behind every matchup.
That too, but Beard's also
Probably coverage.
putting a valid point that whether it's they allow male athletes to promote and grow outside of the sport, for women it's like they need to be on the court to be seen, or it sounds like that's what we're saying, which is unfortunate. And I want to reiterate that in terms of volumes, if someone is trying to make a financial decision by saying that there's not enough money on the back end for viewership or the ability to promote that, just the sheer volume of young female soccer players out there, I think it's ludicrous that a company like Nike hasn't just brought out the new Michael Jordan, essentially, of women's soccer.
Yeah.
No one knew what the hell was going to happen after he was drafted.
Oh,
And they put him up on a pedestal as a
And it's
signature
huge.
athlete.
Yeah.
So do the same thing with soccer, because just by numbers, you're going to get it.
I have something in the chat that I kind of want to cover, and I want your honest opinions. Steph Smitty, what does she say?
I don't know.
There are plenty of sneaker hit. I was going to comment that one.
No.
Oh.
They want to see titties bouncing and asses peeking out of short skirt. Is that why females tennis is selling so hard when it selling so well?
To an extent.
Do you think it's the sex appeal of the actual sport itself, not the skill, not the personality?
People would watch more beach volleyball than if that's what they're really wanting.
There's only so much beach volleyball.
People have been shocked at what's going on in Olympic beach volleyball. There have been a lot of converts to beach volleyball for sure for that exact reason.
Well, beach volleyball was only added maybe 2-3 games ago, and it's no surprise that it was just for the sex appeal, right? I think it's fair to say that beach volleyball, they already have,
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, there's going to be people who are going to oogle over that because that's the only thing that is interesting to them at that point. That's the only reason why they're watching it, but I don't know.
Pierre just made a valid point, unfortunately.
Oh my God, here we go.
Holy shit, he did?
Well, it's in a question, but it's unfortunately valid. Who has more marketability, WNBA players or players from the Lingerie Football League?
All right, let's.
But again, that's fucking degrading, though, too.
That's the thing. That he's using both extremes.
Yeah.
Extreme talent and extreme,
sex appeal.
Exactly. So, which is more marketable? Like ladies in lingerie playing a sport?
Of course it is. Why do you think people watch Victoria's Secret fucking
There's no pay-per-view WNBA games.
But there used to be the lingerie bowl associated with the Super Bowl at halftime.
Yes. I think that's what he's talking about,
bananas.
is he not? Or
there was
an actual league?
There was a league out here. We had a team.
Why wasn't I not made aware of this?
Yeah, you're a creep. You just proved everything we've just said.
That's what I'm trying to say is that, yes, if you market it a certain way and if these ladies are, being
there's going to be people who
objectified, but they know they are being objectified.
Yeah,
they signed up for this shit.
And that's where we've just nicely gone and come full circle to the whole social media Instagram model / Amber Rose shoe with Reebok, when we were all just asking why. Next topic basically is we've just wrapped it up. Whether it's a train wreck or sex appeal, unfortunately, women have been pigeonholed and typecast into that. That
it has to be sexy order for it to sell.
So do you think not once, but do you think if there's a bigger market share of talent in each respective sport, as in, we always have, I think one of the major issues with ladies sports is that there is always one or two extremely good athletes and there's no competition underneath them. The level of competition isn't really there to be intriguing for the casual viewers. Do you agree with that? Look at ladies MMA. There's one or two that just kills everybody, and then no one's ever heard of rank 3 to 10
because there's no money in it in the feeder leagues. I can't even name a feeder league that has featured women.
So it's the developmental problem,
right?
Okay, so once people take female athletes more seriously from age of development, and then we're going to be raising and training and coaching more skilled players, and the level of competition will be a lot more even. Do you think that will make a more compelling product for viewers and consumers of the sports? Will that do better business?
You're never tennis. There isn't a comparison, and that's where my analogy to the modern day gladiators I think still holds true, because it's the men are the freak show athletes of the human species, unfortunately, when it comes to these athletic endeavors. And
so people are just intrigued by freak showiness. They want to see impossible
how do you explain
feats.
The NFL? How do you explain NASCAR? It's the NASCAR effect with football.
Okay.
There's a reason why in a 60-minute game, is it a 60-minute game? 4 15-minute quarters, right? It's not 12-minute quarters.
Yes, that makes sense.
There's literally 11 to 13 or 14 minutes of actual play in an NFL football game. They want to see 7 seconds of guys bashing the shit out of each other, and then you spend the next 35 seconds of the play clock resetting for the next 7 or 8 seconds.
And in that intermittency, you're going, wasn't that cool how they fucking all ran into each other? And
cut to commercial for advertisements, because there's so many people who are watching this, and like we've seen in the chat feed there, guys can't even explain what TV network is showing the WNBA at this point.
That is a huge issue. There's no exposure for the sport.
And again,
but they hype up female tennis tournaments are very isolated incidents, as in nothing else around the world happens when these tournaments start. And I think that's just lucky or good marketing when it comes to promoting a sport that you can do so much coverage and so much concentrated media attention to that one sport and one event, and then like these are tournaments, right? So technically they're playoffs right away when it comes to tennis, single game eliminations and shit. Bracket. Yeah, and I think that's why it's intriguing. Like you lose one game, you're out for the whole tournament. Maybe that's why I'm not trying to sidestep the whole sex appeal when it comes to female tennis thing, but I do want to believe that people are watching female tennis not just for the sex appeal, but for the level of competition, the skill, and the fact
I think you'll see a much higher demographic of women actually watching tennis. When a couple of years ago, when I went to Australia, I went to the Australian Open in Melbourne, and so in Melbourne, and I got to see Federer and Sharapova and Nadal and stuff like that play. And the demographic of people that are there are like tons of women, like 50-50.
That's great.
Or if not higher.
Well,
so
the men are very good looking too.
So I mean, it's not like women aren't interested in it. So I don't think they're there going like, look how hot that girl is. I don't think any of them are there.
Well, I mean, I have a feeling
maybe that's what's drawing
if you're
more.
There watching the sport, you're a fan of the sport. But if you're at home drinking a beer, I don't want to fucking stereotype anybody, but if you're at home just in your underwear watching tennis, maybe you're watching it for the wrong reasons. I'm not isolating anyone, and I'm not fucking singling out any type of person. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, if you're there at the event and you spent tons of money getting there and watching the sport, maybe you are a fan of the sport. But let's just close this discussion up with what do we have to do? Like Joe says, start from the developmental stage of female sports. What can we do to promote female athletes recognition when it comes to brands and being recognized as, you know, a salesperson as well? Like LeBron made a lot of money with Nike, but he also is a salesperson for Nike.
Maybe it has to come from some of the male athletes, that they have to help drive the brands in that direction as well and focus on it. Like, you know, they're good at promoting all the other products that they're endorsed for. Why don't they spend some time helping to grow awareness of the female sports and the other athletes that, you know, they're engaged with, right? And we've seen some publications of like, here's all of our signature athletes together, and it's, you know, male and female mixed, but usually it's very segregated, and I think maybe there should be some more, I'm not going to use the word co-op, but a lot more, you know, driven from the male athletes, and then also the brands have to be more open to traveling down that road that it may not be the profit road right away, but it's promotion, and that knowing that at the end of it, it could turn into something. And I think they just need to figure out how to do that and what the best way to get traction with it.
I think the best way to, you know, in a quick way to solve this problem is to objectify more male athletes. Even the playing field a little bit. I know.
Get them into scantily clad.
Stupid. Yeah, but at the same time, like maybe
we getting audio issues again.
Oh, sorry guys. Just let me know if there's an audio issue. Hold on, I'm gonna start this. Is it okay? Let me know. Anyways, we'll still talk and see what happens. I just think that. You know, we got to treat the athletes, male and female, a little bit more evenly, even when it comes to showing respect and objectifying. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I'm not against objectifying people if they know what they're signing up for. Just make it more even.
But I think that's the wrong approach, because now
of course it's the wrong approach.
You're teaching
I just want things to be
huge
even.
Demographic
That's
of people
the
saying that
way of doing
it's okay to objectify people, and I don't think that's appropriate. But
I think some people don't mind being objectified.
That's fine, but it's the message that it sends out to other people, saying that that's okay in life, that especially to people who are really young that are easily influenced, or saying, oh, I can treat this person here because I saw someone famous do it. And I think that's bullshit, and I don't think they should be doing it.
I'm just saying that as a cop-out answer, really.
I know. You do a lot of cop-out answers. Hey,
Joe,
Eugene, what?
What do you think we need to change right now to make sure that female athletes are represented properly in the world of, you know, like sneakers?
Start buying more female sneakers, Joe.
Start with one athlete.
Yeah.
So women's footy. It's got to be soccer.
Okay.
Start with that. and then
it's got such a global appeal, right? That sport. So
Let's
I think
see what happens. I mean, if we're talking about in terms of sneakers, to tie that back into why the fuck we're actually here, the thing is that it's, if the American market is number one in terms of footwear,
they have the most money to spend, if anything.
Start with women's sneakers.
Okay.
The issue, again, and I'm ashamed to say it, I have no idea who the fuck. So I only know Hope Solo because she's a train wreck, unfortunately.
Well, Alex Morgan was the captain of the USA team, and she's predominantly the forefront of footy, I guess, in the States.
Then it's time, and it'd be ludicrous for Nike not to jump on that and do that. I hope in the next little while, like in the next coming years, we either figure out exactly how we're going to make that work to make equality prevalent in athletics and sports and retail and endorsements and then shoes, or we're going to find out exactly, someone's just going to be perfectly honest and say there's just no money there, and then the equality that's going to happen is these male athletes are going to have to stop getting fat checks cut.
So do you think the male athletes taking up so much money is a direct result to why females don't get?
We never touched that. Yeah. It's interesting.
Do you think that's the result?
Say that again.
Do you think like LeBron taking up all the Nike money means that like the WNBA players won't get their cut of like endorsement money?
Well, no, I think that just boils down to who's saying where the allotment of the demand creation money is going to go, where the marketing dollars are going to go for that aspect. I don't think anyone's blaming LeBron for taking that paycheck, or
but
saying
it has an impact, though, right? Like
if you're looking at total endorsement as their marketing budget or demand creation, saying that, sure, but you're going to put most of your dollars, your eggs, you're going to do that and put most of it in the basket where it's visible, as Gino has said before, because unfortunately the three of us, I watched a lot of basketball the last few years, more than I have in the past. Zero WNBA. I can't name the network that we'd get it up here in Canada. It's obviously TSN or Rogers,
but you wouldn't know when to watch it.
Absolutely not. So, and that's
it's just coverage, right?
Exactly.
So
they play early in the morning or something.
So just to close up this discussion again,
close it up.
The influencers, non-athletes that have sneaker deals, good thing or bad thing?
I think it's probably fuck, that's a tough one.
Just simple good thing or bad thing. What are you, Joe?
What?
Non-female athletes getting sneaker endorsements.
I think it's good overall.
Do I think it's good that male athletes
No, female
non-athletes that are females getting their own sneaker endorsements.
For sure. No, I mean, what we've seen the success with Rihanna and the Fenty line and Puma. It's not a Puma.
Puma.
Yeah.
So you think it's a good thing? Okay.
Absolutely, and it gives them choice, and that's another thing now.
That's a good stepping stone for the ladies.
And now we kind of unfortunately have to add the fact that what we've seen with Adidas' success now in the streetwear realm, where Nike, from a purely athletic standpoint, hasn't been so successful in the streets. That is also a reason why a lot of money is being made and put back into the entertainment side, is because they are more visible
right
in the streets from the streetwear, because that's also what's hot. So you might be fighting against the current by trying to force the issue into female sports, but I still think but
that's how you started, not female sports but sports, right? Sports was your anchor, how you started your brand.
But is it now? So, and that's the issue where I think, you have so much volume in female soccer that I don't see any reason why you can't. And
so Joe just
which event did the women's American women's soccer team? No, they boycotted something that they weren't going to go until the TV contract.
So that they would get paid the same as the men's.
Can't remember the tournament, but that's a perfectly valid move. That if it's going to be a men's and women's tournament,
they're going to do some drastic shit like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that the ladies definitely deserve more attention than they're getting now, but the men's athletic side of selling sneakers and stuff is so dominated just because they get so much viewership as compared to the ladies. It's just basically, if somehow we can adjust the leagues and the sport itself so that it can get more viewership. I don't know what that magic formula would be, but basically if we can get more eyeballs on ladies sports for the right reasons, then that's a good way to start promoting and not singling out, that's a bad word, but start focusing their attention on individual athletes that they can build off of, like a representative of each sport that's a female. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that they can have, you know, a brand like Nike can be like, we're big in basketball, we're big in ladies. Like, I think that Nike's doing all the best things they can do when it comes to equality and this and that, and for them to take a step into focusing more of their attention on a female athlete, I think basketball is a great way to start, just because basketball is such a great sport. Such a wide.
There's just zero viewership though.
That's the problem, man.
Yeah.
So that's the root problem, is that no one's watching female sports for the right reasons, quote unquote.
So. And I mean, the Steph said, I just reading the comments, and she was saying that Serena aside, name a famous female athlete whose shoe would sell, and that's a tough one. Like, I think Alex Morgan might, but I think. So if you can't think of one, you need to start with one that you know that's going to.
So let's close it up and hit the chat up and start responding back to some of the comments and
hate mail
points that we've missed. So anything that catches your eye that we should probably comment on?
Well, Steph Smitty comments that Rihanna having a shoe is no different than Kanye having a shoe. True.
Yeah, that's fine.
Wish hers would blow up more than those things. Mm-hmm. And
wait, Rihanna's shoe to blow up more?
Correct.
I have a feeling they're doing very well.
They are. In fact, in terms
bigger
of,
than what they're doing
percentage, like we talked about, the Fenty line has allegedly sold product and moved the needle for Puma from day one.
So do you think Rihanna is a bigger impact to Puma than Kanye is to Adidas?
Yes, of course.
I know you love that argument that Kanye doesn't do shit for Adidas.
I didn't say she doesn't do shit. There is a number greater than zero. It's just not what every Yeezy fanboy thinks it is.
So do you think Steph Smitty is being undervaluing Rihanna's value to Puma in its entirety?
Maybe.
Okay. Well, I don't know the exact numbers, but I have a feeling they make a lot more Fenties than they do Yeezys. Therefore, they probably sell more units. Possibly. I'm just guessing. But like I said, man, like Adidas, I'm not saying that they're going to be fine or they were doing well before Kanye, but I have a feeling that Adidas probably was impacted less by Kanye than Rihanna going to Puma. You know what I mean? I guess I already said that in a roundabout way before. How about you, Jason? What do you think about the Rihanna movement? Besides Rihanna, though, who else?
I mean, like who else would be...
Like, who else can you name that has like their signature shoe that actually makes a difference? Like Amber Rose having a shoe? Like,
no, not Amber Rose.
We're banning that name.
Who?
Amber Rose?
Yeah, no.
Banned.
All right, sorry.
No, I think Rihanna's probably the best. Ding ding. Obviously the best choice. Yeah. I mean, there isn't. Can't think of anyone else right now. Yeah, and I'm trying to think of who else even has anything that is remotely.
No one that big. I mean, I believe Beyonce's done advertising, and it's advertising. She's been endorsed by like Haute Couture, and she has her own fragrance, and House of Darion jeans I think is still a thing.
I think that's just it. I think that was good that Rihanna, I mean, I think she has some other stuff, but she has the focuses on shoes. Yeah, because I don't.
And again, there's a wide variety of SKUs that's out there.
Exactly. Yeah, shoes, but I think the problem is just what you said about Beyonce is that it's a fragrance. It's catering to the female market, of course, but
I'm saying that she's already gone her own. Right,
but the shoe is the right thing. That's Smokahontas. That it's going in the right direction by choosing the shoes, right, rather than focusing on something that it's just fragrances.
Which is unfortunate because women who make up 50% of the population is something ridiculous there, where they make up a hell of a lot more. I think it's near 60% of the buying decisions for purchases like that. No, like for the entire household.
Oh yeah,
not just for the girls of the house.
Yeah, everything.
My mom was responsible for putting me into shoes for sports up until I begged so much that I finally was able to get Jordans.
Could they actually make a women's whatever it is shoe? I mean, it's supposed to be meant for women, but could they ever make a shoe that men could actually be seen wearing in or would want to wear, kind of like the Jordan? So you have the Jordan 1, it's made in female versions of it. Do you think there could be a point we could ever get at where they'd be making a female shoe that would be,
Well, I don't see why not, because I know some hip hop artists there have unabashed, like with no shame.
Yeah.
We're wearing
Action Bronson,
women's Gucci belts, women's Fendi, like all of the stuff that was catered to women. If it came in a men's size, I know guys that have small enough feet that they've been able to wear women's colored Jordans, like Coral 6s and like, is it Sunrise 5?
Team size 9 right here. Extended sizes.
Sometimes
you get some good stuff.
It has happened. It'd be interesting to see who, if we had some more chat going, that like a women-backed label, haute couture fashion label, that has a shoe out there that men are all about. I just can't think of one right now. It'd take me a while to actually go through the catalog of fashion lines out there to see, but absolutely plausible for that to happen.
Tiana Taylor is the other person that has.
No, Tiana Taylor's an artist, quote unquote.
But she has a shoe line though too.
She did a collab with Adidas. I thought
she had her own shoe. I don't know exactly how legit that line was, but it happens.
Legit.
They could pair Beer Jedi. They could pair the women, the WNBA players, with NBA counterparts.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah. So for every they have coinciding city teams, right? Maybe like
that'd be cool.
The top, quote unquote, top athlete from each team, they have a pack.
Yeah.
And you know how much I love packs.
Yeah, you love them.
And you also just randomly call something a pack, so you have to buy the other one, or say it's not a pack when it actually is labeled a pack, just so you don't have to buy certain shoes. So
exactly.
Or you just don't
pack's
buy
pretty
it,
subjective with Gino. Exactly. And it might not even be the same brand. It's a pack. I got to get it. But that's Adidas and the other one's Reebok.
Oh, yeah.
Or Nike.
A pack's a pack.
Exactly.
So, I don't know, man.
Pack mentality.
Anything else you guys want to add before we start signing off?
Signing off already, eh?
No, what's our viewership like? How many people stuck it out at this far is what I'm curious.
There's still 10 people in the room.
What's up?
So,
thanks for hanging.
Yeah, a lot of them stuck around through the whole thing. So,
thanks for hanging, gang.
Hey, why don't we ask them if there's a topic
any questions
that they want to kind of tackle right now? If
you have any questions, just let us know in the chat, and we will entertain you guys for as long as we can until you guys get bored of us or whatever. And I know it's pretty late.
Tiana Taylor's collab was with Reebok.
Oh, there you go. Thank you.
Thanks, Beard.
So you guys start filling out some questions. I'm going to start scrolling through. Okay.
Oh fuck! I got my sock game on display here unintentionally. What's up, Old Navy socks? I'm wearing pink right now.
Ken Cito. Question for you guys when you have time. What hypothetical situation can you guys foresee a collaboration between Nike and Adidas?
Never.
Or has it happened before? It's kind of like Marvel and DC. They got together for that one book. So we'll never say never.
I think there was an alleged...
Hey, remember when...
There was a pop-up that happened in New York last year before, that people thought that it had finally happened. And I still don't know how this story wrapped up, but I know the words, the real fake Nike Adidas collaboration, and it was just screen printed tees from what I recall.
It happens all the time, but just in China.
Yeah, Canal Street, exactly. You get Nike NMDs or Roshi.
Remember,
I'm not a huge fan of even in the customized game. I'm not a huge fan of mixing tech, or two different brands
in the same realm.
Yeah, I would never take the upper.
Right?
No, I disagree. It's kind of like bastardizing
Remember how weird it was when
That's
you saw
where the fakes came in.
Sonic the Hedgehog in a Nintendo game for the first time?
Nope. What was he in? Super Smash Brothers?
No, it was one of the Mario themed Olympic games.
No, they would never cross brands. Really?
Sonic?
When Sega went out of business?
Yeah,
maybe.
Sega became a software developer exclusively.
Oh,
and started licensing out their characters.
They're like, hey, we need money.
Out Sonic?
And in the early to mid 90s, Sonic the Hedgehog was, tagged onto Sega. And you would never imagine the Sega characters being in any other platform. But eventually you see Sonic the Hedgehog in Nintendo games and whatnot. And we thought that would never happen. So that's what I'm saying. Things
Supreme
could happen.
Louis V.
You never know. Maybe Adidas will make one or two really bad moves and have to fucking start licensing off.
Oh man.
Their brand to other bigger brands that could afford to use them. I'm not saying that it will happen. I'm just saying it's not impossible. But I agree with Jason that nothing great will come. People will buy it up. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time,
I don't know. I don't think people
it'd be a Supreme Louis V.
Yeah, that should have never happened either. So never say never.
And
I think that's more likely
never have happened.
It's more likely to happen than two shoe brands to mix their
especially
tech,
with that kind of animosity.
At
Put
the
it this way,
current
Kanye would have to be out of the
current
picture.
landscape of how business works, of course, we wouldn't think that. But things change. That's all I'm saying. Be more open-minded, guys.
So they're talking about, do we expect the Jordan 33 to suck?
I don't. Okay, I'll put it this way. I think that they're making brand new iterations of old technology. For example, the Air Max was, the first visible air unit.
Yeah.
And the 2017 iteration of that is the Vapor Max. Can you can you think what it would be like if they introduced the Vapor Max technology in a basketball shoe? Right now it's exclusively a running shoe, right?
Yeah.
So if they put some of that Vapor Max technology into a basketball shoe, it'd be a unique
But we've
artifact.
seen
if you look back to some of the Air Max styles, there was the Air Max 360 BB or something like that, where it was the Vapor Max of the day. We're talking full massive air bubble on that thing.
I remember,
and it was ridiculous.
Yeah, but when the Vapor Max images first came out, we thought that looked ridiculous.
Been done. That concept isn't going to be. It's not going to be shocking, is what I'm saying.
I'll be shocked.
You think
Shocking.
so?
But that's all I'm saying, man. There's like brand new iterations of old technology, and they're improving it. And that visible air unit, it gets a new makeover almost every year.
So the question was like, will the 33 look?
Can they get it right?
Horrid. Like, so what?
Here's my prediction.
What would you need to do? So let's do that. Let's predict what we think they'll keep and what things they'll get rid of.
Here's my bold prediction.
Don't look at the chat. Let's just see if we can figure it out ourselves.
But I'm connecting with our guests.
Okay,
so
yes.
If you want to alienate them, that's fine.
Fuck you, Joe. I was just meant like, don't be influenced by influencers on the chat. Just what do you think?
Here's my prediction, okay? We're going to see leaked images of the 33, okay? We're going to be like, that's ugly. We're going to see better picture. He goes, oh, maybe this colorway will work. And then when it comes out and throughout the season, you'll be like, it's not so bad. And then you'll get them a discount.
So what's the first colorway that'll come out?
White cement.
Which one? Just pick one.
White cement. It'll be white cement first.
There you go.
I say black cement.
No, they'll come out at the same time. That'll be the two launch colorways.
Do you think so?
It'll be the white and the black cement.
Or the black.
And that's how it happens every single time, man. The fucking playoff version and the seasonal version of the shoe.
So will they keep obviously the elephant print will be on it?
It will be in some extent. Maybe.
And do they keep?
Maybe it'll be like a fucking fly knit fucking version of a pattern.
So what about the? Well, they didn't do it. Didn't they do it not as a pattern, but they did it on the leather of the Westbrook?
Yeah, I know that's
right.
Of the 30.
Okay.
30 and a
Yeah.
half.
So here's my question: are they going to keep some sort of heel tab? And will they use a Jordan branding or will they use a Nike Air branding?
Nike Air branding.
It really doesn't matter. There'll be a Jumpman on there somewhere.
It matters. It matters to people that want the Nike Air branding on something versus the Jumpman.
No, you can have both.
One on either side.
Like if you look at Jordan, the newer signature Jordan Air Jordans, the Jumpman's fucking everywhere. They can go put like Nike Air on the tongue and shit.
But they didn't put it on the 2 because the 2 didn't have any visible branding.
They used the Wings logo again.
Yeah, just the Wings logo. But what I'm saying is that you could have put the Jumpman, you could have put a swoosh, but because the history of the 2 was to be unbranded except for the Wings logo, they've kind of keep in tune. So my point is with the 3, are you going to go back with Nike Air?
Yeah, I mean, there's been such an outcry, of course.
Yeah.
I think so, anyways. And you'd have to ask Beard Jedi his opinion if they got the 31 right for all the subtle cues that they used for the Air Jordan
31s
1.
didn't really remind me of the Jordan ones, to be absolutely honest.
That's fine.
But the 32s are very reminiscent of the 2s, if you ask me. Because they have the fucking back neck ridges.
So back neck ridges?
Yeah, that's
so then you just have to answer the question.
Will they suck?
No. Will they? If you appreciate the cues that they put on the 31 and the 32, are they going to be able to get the 33 right? And I think the answer is yes. And I think it's going to be an absolute smasher or an absolute cracker.
You've heard it here now today.
So put your pre-orders in now.
Yeah, exactly. $4.95.
Yeah.
If you can get me a massive baller brand.
The tech is going to be just so.
Well, and
Absolute Styles is the futurist, man. The 36 and 38s will be the
You
worst.
were already on that. Oh man,
The iPhone 15 will
Air Jordan
suck.
53s are going to be terrible.
Let's not look too far into the future. The 32s haven't even released yet, and the 33s have some potential. There's a lot of
I've
ways
got
you can
hope.
interpret it, right?
Air bubble. How do you incorporate
I know.
the first visible air bubble?
I know, with the VaporMax technology, that's what I'm saying.
Nah, you can't go. It would
You-
bastardize that shoe if
you
you,
don't
did a
know that?
full. Yeah, I do actually.
Watch what happens in 2018. Watch how the VaporMax
I will
technology will
laugh
be
in your
incorporated
face.
into everything. Joe,
It's
you're,
like
you're
it's
nodding your
What are you
head.
talking about? It's full
What?
visible
this is like-
zoom.
I think this was laughing, nodding. Like, no.
You'll
'Cause
see a lot of VaporMax shit on everything, man.
Well, you won't see it on
No.
the Jordan 30.
Why not?
Because it's
You didn't see Air Max on everything when they went bananas with Air Max technology.
No, but that's not how it works, man.
That's
Like,
what you're just saying will happen, though. And now you just said that's not how it works. So now
well,
you just
when the
contradicted
Air Max
yourself.
came out, like you
Correct.
saw the visible
Full-
air unit all over the place.
But yeah, but
And
they've
they
already done the
incorporated-
full Air Max, full visible
So
Air
y-
Max on like.
so we're gonna
the
see one of
LeBrons and stuff,
Luca's
so-
designs of,
Oh, yes.
the 97 sitting on a Vapor Max sole,
wanna
or
see
the,
that.
the 95 on a Vapor Max sole would be interesting.
See,
Yeah,
But,
but not on a. You couldn't do it on that Jordan 3.
they'll find a way.
No,
well, maybe we could.
it's a challenge, I guess,
pick,
right?
Let's pick a silhouette and get Kurtzistan here to actually meld a Vapor Max.
But you have to
sole.
put some grip on the bottom. That's the only issue.
But
Right?
that's what I'm saying.
Why?
Then it
You-
becomes just a full Air
A,
Max with
it's
a
not coming out
outsole
of
on
the
it.
box for you. It'd sit on a shelf, so it doesn't matter what kind of traction's on it. B, 99% of the people are going to be wearing it in the street, so again, doesn't need that much traction. And for me, since I am a reputable NBA wear tester,
Right.
in my mind, that I don't think it needs it, is what I'm saying.
It doesn't.
So just put a Vapor Max sole on the Air Jordan 19.
Sure.
I got nothing.
So when the 49s come out,
Exactly.
we can do it.
Yeah.
Like there's so many ways to incorporate the look and the technology of the Jordan 3s.
Exactly. If they put Vapor Max on a Jordan 33, he would riot.
Yeah, totally. Blasphemy.
I'm just saying, it seems like a possible trend that they're going to go with.
And what's the upper going to be made out of? I'm going to say fly cellophane.
Fly. I'm
Fly
gonna
Ziploc.
say elastic yarn
Yeah.
sticks.
It'll
I
be
don't know.
graphene.
Something. Yeah, it's fraffy. Fraffalopian.
Graphene.
Raffine.
Raphine.
It's raffine. It's made out of Raffy's actually
Okay, that's
actual skin.
enough. That's enough.
All right, man.
It's enough.
Let's wrap it up. Do you guys have anything to add before we bounce out of here?
Thanks for hanging. That's it.
Yeah, man.
that
Thank
was
you.
cool.
Thanks a lot to the chat and being involved, and thank you to all the other sister podcasts.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Personalities showing up today. I very much appreciate
What a
it.
crowd. What a turnout.
Your Jedi, Dan, one-legged lister is awesome.
Mhm.
Buckeye
see you,
was
buddy.
here for a second, and then I guess it's getting really late on the East Coast, guys.
Staff.
So thanks for everyone
Staff.
for hanging in
Marvin
there.
Santiago.
So thank you guys so much. And I don't know. I just want this to be like an experimental thing, and hopefully it catches on.
Every week it's an experiment.
This is true. It's just
Yeah,
that we
it's
go
very
very,
loose.
very off script if we have any script at
That's
all.
what makes it awesome.
And that's why I wanted to try out this live format. And it's just basically I'm doing this live because I wanted some interaction, and that's basically it. Just to get some direct feedback. So anyways, before we wrap it up, I'd like to give a shout out to our sister podcast, the Sneaker Bar Detroit's Sneaker Box podcast. You can listen to them every Sunday, and you can listen to Monday Midsole every Monday, also on YouTube at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can there's a new podcast coming out, Talkin' Kicks, that will be premiering in a couple of weeks on Wednesday, also at 8 p.m. Eastern. So good luck to everybody with their endeavors, with their podcasts, and thank you everyone for joining us tonight. And that's it, I guess.
Yeah.
So we miss you, Pierre.
Yeah, I miss you,
Hopefully
P.
you'll be available for the next one. And for the sneaker
Wednesday night wedding.
Yeah, I know, man.
Yeah.
That's bull.
I call bullshit.
So for the Sneakerphiles podcast, I'm Eugene.
I'm Jason.
Hypeless Joe. Thanks again.
Happy hunting, guys.